especially to like racism that exists in society. But like overwhelmingly, let's just assume that she was changing her accent. I think that's inconsequential in comparison to Donald Trump being a 34 count felon rapist that tried to coup the country and steal the outcome of the 2020 election. Like you're just picking and choosing your battles, and you're choosing and picking wrong.
Donald Trump didn't steal the election. He won.
In 2020?
Yeah.
Okay, you're trolling, right?
No, he won.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, sorry. So you actually think that Donald Trump won 2020?
Yes.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. I really think that they were a troll. Let's go and get our next guest up in here. I really don't believe them. I really think that they're a troll, so we're just gonna move on. For the 1.3 thousand people hanging out with us in here today, guys, please make sure that we are double tapping on that phone screen, sharing out that live, guys. Let's try to get this live boosted on the For You page. What's going on, Brandon? Are you voting for Trump?
What's up, D? I already did vote for Trump. I just got done doing that about 2 hours ago.
Oh man, dude, no. You're on the wrong side of wrong side of history, little bro.
I'm on the wrong side. I
right.
don't really think so. I don't need.
That's right. Go support the rapists. Nothing that we could do about it since you've already voted. We're going to go move on to the next guest, but we're just going to criticize you in the passing period here. Hey, what's going on? Are you voting for Trump?
Hi, I just wanted to say your composure is amazing, Dean. I still
Thank you so much for the love. Make sure to show some love to Little Gay Demon in the chat. I really appreciate you so much. W's for the guest. Base. Thank you so much for the love. What's going on, Herbert? Are you voting for Trump?
I am voting for Donald Trump. I just hopped on here, so I haven't heard too much of what you've been talking about. But I'm curious because I don't know too many liberals, and I'm just wondering, why do you want to vote for her?
Sure. Because she has better character and better policy. She's not a 34 count felon, rapist, lunatic that's like defrauded young adults at his university and like tried to overthrow our country and boasted about grabbing women by the P word or boasting about walking into the changing rooms naked teenage girls or hit on 10-year-old girls or tried to religiously persecute all new Muslims. And then her policy is just better for America, better for our economy, better for income inequities, better for women and girls, and better for the average American.
But like, see, you just do a whole bunch of, this is what I noticed all them liberals do, is just word salad. I mean, what does that even mean? What are you talking about?
Okay, I could break it down further. So her character,
break it down a bit.
I'll simplify it. So her character is much better than Donald Trump's. So Donald Trump is engaged in a bunch of deplorable actions and behaviors. Meanwhile, she hasn't to the same degree. And then her policy is much better than Donald Trump's because it has more of a focus on America and the people in America, especially that average American.
Okay, but dude, you talk about character. First off, she lied about ever working at McDonald's, and Donald Trump was there yesterday working at McDonald's.
She lied about that?
Because everyone knows
Alex,
it,
thank
dude.
you for the $5 on Vim. I appreciate you for the love. Well, I don't see any evidence for that. Like, what's the evidence that she lied about working at McDonald's?
Because there's no evidence that she ever worked there, and they would have came out with the transcript.
So can you please give me like any employee records from a place such as McDonald's, Burger King's, or Wendy's from 40 years ago?
They can pull it up, but the thing is, they
don't exist.
Why?
They don't keep paper records like that for like 40 years, especially when it's like.
Was she doing it 40 years ago?
I mean, I'd assume that she's probably working at McDonald's at about 20 years old while she's going through college.
Okay. Well, doesn't really make sense to me at all because they debunked it already, and they debunked her whole campaign.
Oh, I'm still waiting for you to debunk the claim that she worked at McDonald's. Like, that's just like just such a weird hill to die on, and then B, like seemingly, like you're placing this like incredibly high standard on like businesses like McDonald's to keep employee records for minimum wage workers from 40 years ago in the 70s. Like, you understand, not even hospitals do that.
Dude, even Trump said when he started working there yesterday. Even Donald Trump said, "Oh, I'm working this job right now, and we have someone I'm going against who lied about it."
I mean, yeah, Donald Trump said that she lied, but that doesn't mean that she actually lied, okay? Donald Trump's not the all-knowing, all-powerful God that you bend the knee to, okay? I mean, even though you really want to...
He's not God. Don't ever say he's God. That is not true. That is blasphemy.
Oh, that's blasphemy?
Donald Trump is not God.
Wait,
no one is God.
You came up yesterday. You're the troll.
I've never spoken to you, but I've seen you and Parker on live all the time.
No. You came up yesterday. You're the troll from yesterday.
What are you talking about?
You are, yeah. Is this the guy from yesterday? Is this the dude from yesterday?
I don't know, dude. What are you?
A plus troll.
First time.
A plus troll. A plus troll.
I'm not a troll.
A plus troll. Dude, there is no one more committed to the troll than that guy. A plus troll. But imagine he's actually just some fucking lunatic and he's like dead ass about it. But A plus troll. If he's a troll, he's my favorite troll ever. What's going on? Are you voting for Trump?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18, sweet. So why are you voting for Trump?
Well, before we start, I just have a couple questions to ask you. They're pretty simple. Yes or no. All right. Do you think Trump is a liar?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. I had it written down. One second. I had it in my head. Do you think a government has do you think the government underneath the president has anything to do with how the country economic
Yes.
order? Yes, it has something to do with it. Okay. So do you think before the presidential election, whenever the Democrats said that Biden was incompetent, do you think he was competent any time before that? Or did you see anything that was a little suspicious? Oh, he's maybe...
They were just making the argument that he's more competent for the job than he was running against, what I agree with. We got to appeal to the voter base. Just saying that he's competent enough to fulfill the necessary criteria for being president is fine. I find no issue with that.
Well, I know, but do you think that he was showing any signs, not necessarily of dementia, because I guess you can't necessarily...
No, I'd say that he's an old man that has experienced mental degradation just from old age.
Really? Okay. Well, that's just because, my personal thing, wherever I say I'm voting for Trump is because wherever you can see this probably even not necessarily a year after he was elected, but probably 2 years that his mind wasn't just necessarily there. With some of the statements that he was making.
Biden's not running for president, though, man. Kamala Harris.
Well, I know, but it's the fact that the whole Democratic Party and Kamala Harris all lied, because you can even see it the day
I'm
before.
so sorry. What's worse, lying about the outcome of the 2020 election and trying to actively steal it from Biden, convincing 70% of the Republican voter base that Trump wanted Biden lost, even though that's a lie, or saying that Biden is mentally competent, sufficient to serve, which isn't a lie, but you're just interpreting it in a very bad faith fashion, so it can be a lie. And if you care about dishonesty and moral virtues in a candidate, in the same way that lying would sway you from voting for Kamala Harris, why doesn't being a rapist or a felon sway you away from voting for Trump? We have to consider all of these virtues. Not
has
just
Donald
one.
Trump been charged with? Has he been charged with rape?
Yeah, he's been held civilly liable for it in a court. Court did determine through the use of a jury and through a unanimous decision due to a preponderance of evidence that Donald Trump had raped a woman. Yeah.
Well, then how is he not in prison right now?
Because there's a civil court. Civil courts force people to pay money not to go to jail. They forced him to pay her $87 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Never mind. Well, okay. Well, next topic. One of my things is about immigration, because I know a bunch of immigrants, and I'm not gonna say whether their parents are legal or not, but I just don't think that, as much as I love the culture entering our country, as much as I love that these people they're good people, the people that have been let in these past 4 years into such high numbers don't necessarily fit that profile. And wherever you say the bill that was declined by whoever, I forgot,
Fit the profile, be of good people. They're better people than American citizens. They're 2 times less likely to commit violent crimes.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm not saying all of them are. It's just the fact that I know you're going to say what was the border bill called that the Democrats say that Donald Trump called
Langford's bipartisan border bill. Yeah, the one that he torpedoed.
Well,
that
it's 'cause-
Biden
so
and Harris
I-
were getting influence to get passed through Congress and with bipartisan support because of the crisis onset by the expiration of Title 42. Yeah.
Well, I know. Well, and I was reading through some of the terms of the deal, and it said they were sending more agents down there. So whenever it says more agents, I view that as not necessarily agents to stop them. It's agents to process, not. So we're not stopping them from coming through. It's just we're sending more agents to pat them down and then send them through. So as much as yes, I could stop maybe.
Wait, are you asking to
drugs.
wait 1 second? Are you asking to stop people coming into the country through legal ports of entry?
Well, I'm asking just to do some more background.
No, do you want to stop
background.
people from coming into the country through legal ports of entry? Because border agents do go down to secure the border to watch parts of the border where undocumented migrants come into the country, but they also are set down there to vet and process legal migrants coming in through legal ports. So do you think that we should reduce the amount of individuals coming into our country through legal means, or do you just have an issue with undocumented migrants coming into our country unvetted?
mainly undocumented, just because you don't know.
Okay, great. Well, I mean, if your issue is undocumented entry into our country, then you should have liked the bill, because the point of the bill was to further incentivize people to enter through legal means and to disincentivize them to enter through undocumented means, right? It invested into asylum-seeking processes and reduced the time that those claims make from 7 to 8 years to 7 to 8 months. That will naturally disincentivize people from entering into our country through undocumented means, right? It also further funded more border provisions, such as higher levels of border patrol, higher levels of like security on drugs, sex trafficking, and even like the wall, right? But all things considered, it was good legislation because it just further incentivized people to enter through legal means.
Okay, but I have a question. Do you think there has been a surge of illegal immigrants under, Kamala and Biden-Harris, or it's stayed relatively?
And yeah, no, after the Title 42, we saw like a massive surge of undocumented entries into our country. But that was caused by the expiration of Title 42, not caused by the administration. We should evaluate the efficacy and the responsibility of the administration based upon the response. The response was to influence bipartisan legislation through Congress, but then Trump torpedoed that because he didn't want the Democrats to win.
Okay, well, I saw what month was that? October, that it was started to rise about the immigrants. Or no, we're in freaking October. What the hell am I saying? It was like July that a bunch of controversy came up, and then Abbott placed the what's it called, barbed wire in front of the border and sent down like his national.
That doesn't have anything to do with our discussion about the federal government's response. That just has to do with the state taking like too much power away from the federal government.
I know, but what was wrong with if we're so against illegal immigrants coming into our country, not vetted down immigrants? Because I'm fine with that, but illegal immigrants, that's who they're trying to stop whenever they're coming through.
Because they were breaking federal law. They were superseding our federal government.
And wait, what law was that then?
I couldn't tell you the exact law, but it's like the state can't act out of accordance with the federal government on the southern border because that is ordained given the federal government. It would just be whatever law would dictate that the federal government that the federal government manages the southern border. That whatever law that is the one that they broke. Okay, all right, because states' rights can't supersede federal rights.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's in writing or not, but doesn't the state doesn't necessarily have because you know how the states share power with the federal government, and then certain powers are reserved, like certainly
but some powers supersede the level of the state if they're upheld by the federal government. Like Alabama can't legalize slavery because that would be protected and ratified under, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, aka it's federally protected against. Right, the same thing would be true of the southern border. Right, like that's going to be
I know, but then
managed by the federal government. Like are you trying to dudes like I don't know what you're trying to do here. Like I'm literally telling you the reason that it is the case that the state didn't have the right to manage the southern border is because that was like jurisdiction under the power of the federal government. 13th Amendment, sorry guys. And I'm telling you this is true, this is a fact. There's just an order of power that is ordained given our republic, and a state power cannot supersede federal power. And that's just a fact, dude. That's constitutional law, right? You're not going to be able to change that, and you're not going to be able to debate that either, because that's just an objective fact.
Okay, well, so I'll give you that one. But back to you said there was a rise of immigration. Well, do you think there was a rise of illegal immigration or just immigration?
I told you that there was a rise of undocumented entries into our country.
Okay. Well, then why in the House of Representatives did every single person that voted no against the SAVE Act, which requires you to show proof of being a U.S. citizen? So that doesn't necessarily mean like visa or passport. Proof of being a U.S. citizen. Why did
being a U.S. citizen to do what?
To vote. To vote.
Yeah.
So, and why did every single Democrat vote no? And why? So, most of the, what's it called? The cities where the migrants are welcome, right? Sanctuary cities.
I could tell you.
So,
the reason that Democrats voted no on the SAVE Act is because it was rushed and hurried, and it left out particular databases of U.S. citizens. It would just make it harder for some U.S. citizens to vote. B, it's been codified in federal law that only citizens can vote since the 1970s, and then that was once again revamped in the early 2000s. And D, in order to vote at all, you have to be registered to vote, and in order to be registered to vote, you have to have a social security number. Right? So when we place this qualifier of having an ID to show at the voters booth in order to vote, that's just going to inevitably end up harming U.S. citizens that don't have an ID, because you already have to be a U.S. citizen with an SSN to register to vote in the first place.
Okay, well, my only thing is because I've heard, so you can't necessarily rule something out just because someone's like, just because I say that you're a murderer doesn't mean you murdered someone, right?
What are you talking about? Could you show me conceptual knowledge?
I've seen reports that in certain democratic states that not necessarily federal government, but the voting, like the people that organize it, the voting centers where they collect the votes, have been told not to collect or not to request, your SSN or any proof of identification.
You literally have to have a social security number in the United States of America in order to vote. And the reason I say that is because you have to be what? Registered to vote. Like, have you registered to vote yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you don't know about this, so that's fine. We can use this as an educational moment. You're 18, you haven't registered to vote yet. If you want to vote come November, if I were you, I'd literally do that right now. But when you register to vote, you're going to have to provide your full name, your social security number, and even an address.
And do you
it might even be like too late to register.
Oh shit. Well, like whenever you walk into the like actual voting location, like say I did in person, like do they what?
Yeah, dude, it's even too late to register. You're actually going to experience that I'm right and you're wrong firsthand. Because when you show up to the voting booths, you're going to be turned around because you're not registered to vote. You won't be able to vote, just like undocumented migrants. There will literally be no difference between you showing up to a voter booth in November and an undocumented migrant showing up to a voter booth in November. I just want to put that out there. Both of y'all are not registered to vote. You will be turned around, even though either of y'all will have to have a required ID.
Okay. Well, I'll do some more research on that just because I'm still not sure. It's not necessarily that I don't trust you. I just want to see it for myself.
Buddy, you will see it. That's what I'm telling you. You will see it for yourself. You will literally see it for yourself in 15 days. In 15 days, you will experience that what I'm saying is correct and true firsthand.
Okay. All right, is there anything else you want to talk about? I can't think of anything else currently.
No, man, I appreciate you for coming up. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. For the 3.6 thousand people hanging out with us in here today, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. We're on the backup account for the next 5 days. Let's try to get this account to send out. We may need to hit a restart. I guess we'll see what we need to do here. Santana, thank you for the heart me. It's good to see you, bro. What's up, Kyler? Are you voting for Trump?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, why's up?
It's more so that I disagree with Kamala than I disagree with Trump.
Okay, I love this argument.
Yeah, I do want to say, first of all, that I do respect everything that you do and everything. And I think I just disagree with Kamala. So,
okay, let's hear it. Why so?
Well, I think one thing that really solidified it for me was the Brett Baer interview. I think she got kind of torn apart in that. And
okay, give me an example.
Well, shit.
Okay, don't worry. How about I just give you my thoughts? I think in the interview, overwhelmingly, my biggest critique of Kamala Harris was the fact that she didn't directly answer a handful of questions by Brett. But overwhelmingly, I think that was impeded upon by the fact that he was incessantly interrupting her, not allowing her to answer the questions as a whole. And we see politicians do this every single day. JD Vance still hasn't answered if Trump won or lost 2020 after being asked on that by about 20 reporters. Donald Trump yesterday at McDonald's was asked a very direct question on if he would raise minimum wage if he's reelected. He just said that he loved minimum wage workers and refused to answer, then went back inside the McDonald's. And then not to mention, if this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Kamala, why isn't rape, attempting to stage a coup to overthrow a government, or 34 felonies the straw that broke the camel's back for Trump?
Yeah, I get that. But also, when you look at all the interviews that Trump does and he's getting interrupted and stuff like that, and then Kamala had it happen to her, I think that Trump handled it better than Kamala did, because she at one point was yelling at Brett, and it's
then why did he lose the debate? If he handles his situations better, how come he got absolutely stomped on at his debate with Kamala Harris?
Well, I mean, I personally don't think that he lost that debate.
Okay, then why did he accuse her of wearing earrings with other people giving her information and having to do a 3v1? That was the ultimate cope. And we all know that he lost the debate. He couldn't answer any questions. She dunked on him on every single point, and she even had strategically planned to piss him off to make him look insane and release that information to the public prior to the debate, meaning that he had it, and then he still fell into her traps. He absolutely lost the debate. Stop being a partisan hack and realize that you're right there. I have no problem with recognizing downfalls in my own candidate's character or performance in these discussions. Why do you? Like the first thing I did when you brought up her interview on Fox was I criticized her for not answering questions. Why can't you criticize Trump for losing his debate with Kamala Harris?
Well, I won't criticize him for losing the debate. I will criticize him in saying that I think it's terrible the way that he debates. I think it's terrible the way that he goes about criticizing his opponents and stuff like that. I 100% agree with that. I don't know. I think that side of it, yes, he's bad for politics in that way, but I think he's going to be good for the overall effect of our country.
All right, why is that? Name one policy of his that you think will be good.
I think he has a much better economic plan than Kamala. Kamala's never said anything about what she's going to do, and nobody knows what she's going to do when she gets into office. Trump
Really?
has been very clear with that.
How positive are you
And-
about that claim?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm not you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a genius. However,
Let's test that claim. So you said that she has no economic policy. She's never announced a plan, and no one knows what she's going to do. So we actually know exactly what she's going to do. We know more about what she's going to do compared to Trump. So her economic policy as a whole is estimated to cost $2.4 trillion by the CBO. And what she's going to do, she's going to cut taxes for 100 million American citizens in the low and the middle class. She's going to increase the child tax credit to $6K for newborns, $3.6K for any kid from the age of 1 to 5, then $3K for anyone from the age of 5 to 17. Right? She's going to cap the amount that any American citizen will pay out of pocket for prescription drugs to $2,000 a year. She's going to introduce a $25,000 subsidy for first-time homebuyers to buy newly developed properties, and she's going to increase the standard deduction for new businesses to $50,000 for their first year in business. We could also go over the fact that she wants to limit corporations from buying single-family homes. We could go over the fact that she wants to codify and protect a woman's right to choose access to abortion, and all of these policies are publicly available on her website. And then on top of just knowing who she's going to cut taxes for and knowing how much they're going to cost, we also know how she's going to pay for it. She announced a 7% increase in the corporate tax rate with the Treasury's estimates last year from Biden's fiscal plan that was announced that also included a 7% increase in the corporate tax rate. That's estimated to generate $1.3 trillion of additional revenue for our federal government over the next 10 years. For the remainder of their $1.1 trillion, 300 to 400 billion of that is going to come from granting Medicare a greater renegotiating ability with private pharmaceutical companies to save in government spending. And the remainder of that is going to come from an increase in the unrealized capital gains tax for centimillionaires and an introduction of the unrealized capital gains tax and an increase in the realized capital gains tax. So that is I literally just described to you 90% of her fleshed out nuanced economic policy. Now, what do we know about Trump's? Go ahead and tell me his economic policy.
well, that's great and all, and I love that you're telling me this. However, why can't she say that? I have not heard her once say that. And
It is.
everything you're saying may be true. Everything you're saying may be absolutely true. But
KamalaHarris.com/issues.
Why can't she get in front of the TV, in front of the press, and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, instead of dodging all the questions consistently?
She did. She talked about the $25,000 subsidy at the debate with Trump. She talked about the $50,000 homebuyer tax credit. Sorry, the $50,000 deduction for new businesses in their first year. She's talked about the increases in the child tax credit, the subsidy for newly developed houses. She's talked about corporations buying single-family homes. She's talked about the corporate gains, the corporate tax, and a 7% increase. She's talked about all of these things. Yeah.
Well, I mean...
So once again, what is
whatever
Trump's
y'all wanna
economic
say,
plan?
but, I mean, at the end of the day, the mass public is looking at it, and what
Hey,
we
Kyler,
see...
what is Trump's economic plan?
I'm not a fucking economist, man, but I'm going to tell you that when I'm looking at who I'm voting for, I'm going to vote for somebody that is going to be straight up with who they're talking to, and not just somebody that dodges every single question. And I can't vote for somebody
You think that Trump is a straight up guy?
Obviously not. He's a fucking curveball, but he's more straight up than fucking Kamala.
No way. He told over 30,000 confirmed lies during his presidency, and one of his former advisors said that he can't distinguish between what's true and false, and he straight up lied and manipulated 70% of the Republican voter base into believing that he won the 2020 election because he's a narcissistic baby rager, and he actually still hasn't accepted the results of the election until this day. And then also for you to call him a straight up guy when he has served as the greatest threat to democracy since the Civil War, when he tried to coup the country and steal the election from Biden in 2020, is absolutely absurd. You were obviously a partisan hack, and who knows? Maybe your claims are rooted in misogyny.
I don't think it's that. I just think that Kamala doesn't stand for anything. She's not telling us anything, and at the end of the day, it's going to be. She's saying she wants to make a change and she wants a new America, and she's going to do the exact same shit that Biden does. And even if she doesn't do the same thing that Biden does, she's just going to make it worse, and then we're going to be a worse place with a wide open border.
How's she going to make it worse?
We're going to have a wide open border.
Wait, do you think that Biden and Harris opened the border?
he 100% didn't help it.
Oh, okay. So his executive order that decreased crossings to like about 1,700 crossings per day, lower than any point under Trump's, didn't help it, right? The bipartisan border bill that he tried to influence through Congress, that Trump torpedoed, didn't help it. Let's be so real, Kyler. Right. Then also,
That's
you said
how
that
much
Kamala Harris
that they're
doesn't stand for
actually trying.
anything.
That's not
She
the
stands for the
undocumented people that are
reinstitution.
coming across.
She stands for the reinstitution of federal protections for a woman and girl's right to choose. She stands to protect our democracy. She stands to reduce income inequities. She stands to make our economy better. She stands to reduce systems that disproportionately burden already marginalized communities. She stands for all Americans, unlike Trump, who lacks a backbone, lacks a spine, lacks a virtuous character, and lacks anything in which he genuinely stands behind, because at the end of the day, this guy's all about himself. He doesn't care about anyone outside of himself, and he will manipulate any conceivable scenario just to benefit himself. That's what he did with the bipartisan border bill. That's what he did with the election in 2020, and that's what he's continued to do with his sway, power, control, and influence over half of our fucking country, because he'll just lie.
What do you think they were doing with Biden the entire time? The entire Democratic Party is keeping him as a puppet the entire time, and they're just going to replace him with Kamala. And
Okay,
it's
so
going to be
conspiracy theory bullshit.
If you want to call it a conspiracy, absolutely go ahead. But that's what's happening. You
Okay,
can be
so
blind to it.
convince me that Biden has been a puppet over the course of the last 4 years with facts and reason. Convince me. Do it. You don't have any.
Okay, so
You're ready. You're not going to give me any.
Okay, then don't let me fucking talk then. I mean, that's fine.
I'm waiting.
He literally does not step in front of the press at all. There was rumors about him being dead. Like, there's so much stupid shit that this man, like, I'm
Not stepping in front of the press? Well, I mean, you know that's like hyperbolic and false, right? I mean, he was actually just went in the press conference room 2 weeks ago. We saw him with the press at the firefighters union. We saw him at the press like time and time again, filming right out of the Oval Office. That was just hyperbolic and false. I don't know where that came from. Then what was your second claim?
I don't know, man.
See how you have no reason to believe in what you do? See how you're just like a partisan hack? No. See how you're like, no. Just listen. Let me please just listen to me deconstruct your reality. Do you see how like you're a partisan hack? You stand behind no facts and you just repeat shit that you hear from Trump, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, or Fox News? Like, bro, wake up.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, the Democratic Party is fucked, and it's not going to end well. And
Really, name
I respect
one
you for
policy.
being a great debate. Hold on. No.
Name
I
no.
respect you
Name
for
one
being a great
policy passed by
debater.
the Biden-Harris administration that was fucked.
I don't make this my whole life like you do, dog.
Bro, then
Like,
why do you call it fucked if you don't know what they do? How is the Democrat Party fucked if you don't even know what they're doing, dude?
you have to look at our country as a whole right now, but you're going to be biased where you are because
No, tell me how the
place that you
Democrat
stand.
Party caused our country to be bad in any facet, any way, any shape, any form. See what I mean? You can't, bro. I'm not being biased. I'm not showing my bias. And he left. Of course he left because he can't do that. So you just put the pressure on. Like that's the reality of it, guys. Put the pressure on. We're gonna move on to our next guest here, y'all. If you do want to support me, my Venmo as well as my PayPal or my bio, I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. They go straight to me and they really help me. I do appreciate you guys so much for the love. What's going on? 3-3. Are you voting for Trump?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I am.
All right. Why so?
I just think he's a stronger leader. He's going to put Americans first.
Did you put American first when he tried to coup the country and steal the election from Biden in 2020, or when he tried to, like, I don't know, torpedo the border bill because it made the Democrats look too good, even though it, strengthened our southern border?
I mean, he was thinking about some Americans when he was doing that.
Okay, so trying to overthrow our democracy is putting America first.
Sorry, what was that?
So trying to overthrow democracy and torpedoing good legislation because we'd make the other side of the aisle look too good, put America first.
Trying to save us from Biden, no?
Oh my God! Wow. So you are really gone. So
What'd you say?
so you're saying that when Trump tried to steal the country, that was putting America first because he wanted to save us from Biden. So you're anti. So you don't fuck with democracy.
Bad behavior, but obviously I don't think people should be overthrowing the government and doing those things.
So he doesn't put America first.
I mean, maybe he has in the past and maybe he hasn't in the past. I'm sure you could say the same about any of the presidents
Okay, tell me one other president that tried to coup the country.
that tried to coup the country. I don't know, but are there other presidents that haven't put Americans first?
I think that there's plenty of examples of people that haven't put America first, but you're making the concession now that Trump doesn't put America first, which would be antithetical to the one reason you gave me insofar as why you're voting for him.
So if there's if we're just talking odds, who do we think is going to put Americans first?
Kamala
Kamala?
Harris.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, why?
Well, that's fine. I mean, we're all going to make our
No,
decisions.
tell me why you think that Trump will put America first.
Because I think he knows what he's doing. He's a businessman. He is smart with money.
Smart one, man. Name one good businessman with 6 bankruptcies.
I mean, when you make thousands of businesses, right, you're going to have some fails in there. I'm sure you've failed in your life a few times.
So then name one other good businessman with 6 bankruptcies.
I mean, how many businesses has he successfully operated?
I don't know. I'd say 0. Like, and the reason that I'd say that is because
Right, he amassed all that money by being really bad at business.
yeah, I actually do think he's quite bad at business. So he got $412 million from his dad. If he was to invest that in the S&P 500 instead of like starting businesses, he would have been wealthier today than he was, than he is now. And I think if the S&P 500 index fund is outperforming you in your business endeavors, like you're probably not a good business owner. But like, I'm still waiting for you to tell me one other good businessman with 6 bankruptcies.
The S&P 500 tracks the biggest 500 businesses.
Dude, it has like a year-over-year like average of 10% per year. If you can't grow if you're growing your wealth under 10% per year, you're not a good businessman.
So you're saying the S&P 500 is not a good investment?
Not for like your main source of income, no.
I mean, that's to each his own, I think. But whatever. This isn't really kind of what I want to talk about.
No, that's not. No, that's not to each his. No, that's not to each its own. Is all. Like it's a stable but a low return investment. Right? Everyone knows this.
It's
okay.
good.
Right?
If
you're not compounding your wealth over like 10% annually while calling yourself a businessman, that is not something to be paraded and celebrated on the national scale. Like, am I a better businessman than Donald Trump because I have compounded my wealth at over 10% per year?
I mean, depends how much wealth are you talking about, Dean?
Well, I'm just talking proportionally speaking. Apparently, I'm a better businessman than Donald Trump because I've compounded my wealth at more than 10% per year.
But proportionally speaking, you aren't worth 1% of what he's worth.
You're not getting my point, though, bro. Like, so you really think that? Okay,
Down a
so
situation here, and that's not how things work.
yeah, no, you don't. It's 3-3. With all due respect, the point that you're not understanding is the reason that he's a bad businessman is because he has 6 bankruptcies. You couldn't name any other businessman that you think is good with 6 bankruptcies. And the second reason why I call him a bad businessman is because he would have made more money if he sat back at Mar-a-Lago all day, every day, and invested all of his money into the S&P 500. If the S&P 500 index fund is outperforming you, then you are not a good businessman.
No, because you have to take risks to learn. That's how you learn. When you fail, I'm sure he learned a lot of those things.
So you admit that he's a failed businessman?
Sure.
He took the risk and he failed.
And he's done good. Like I said, I'm sure you've failed things in your life, as we all have. And
But if you fail to the extent of not being able to outperform a fucking index fund, that is not something to be paraded and celebrated as your only reason to be the president of our country. Ashley, thank you for the $10 on Vimeo. I really appreciate you for the love. Like literally, you're literally saying, take this guy, oh, he outperformed an index fund. He should be the supreme dictator of us all.
Actually, you're the one that said that.
I didn't outperform
the
an
index fund at all. You like to take these conversations and twist them all around.
I mean, no, you just can't say that he's a good businessman if he can't outperform an index fund. Christian, thank you so much for the galaxy.
Like he struggled to outperform the 500 biggest companies in America. I mean,
Bro, what is the S&P 500?
That is rough.
What is the S&P 500?
The S&P Standard and Poor, whatever, 500 biggest companies in America. That's what it is.
What's an index fund?
It's a collection of companies that are invested. I don't know, like Vanguard has an S&P, you know, SPY, VU, all of those. Right, they track the biggest 500 companies and they invest in them.
Okay, so the S&P 500 is an index fund, or it's a platform where you could trade and buy into these 500 companies, and year by year it has an annual return of 10%. Okay, right? It's a very safe, it's a very reliable index fund to grow your wealth at like a low rate of return over the long term.
I'm aware of that.
Right? And it's also not the big five. It's also not the biggest 500 companies. But then secondly, right, when you say that you're outperforming the S&P 500, you're not saying that you're outperforming the 500 biggest businesses in the world. You're saying that you're growing your wealth at over 10% per year. Like even the CEOs of those 500 companies are growing their wealth at over like 10% per year. Right? That is a very low rate of return that is pretty standard for a long-term stable investment.
Okay.
Right? So if you can't grow your wealth by over 10% per year, right, you're not a good businessman.
Okay. So he's not a good businessman.
So then why are you voting for him?
What'd you say?
So then why are you voting for him?
Because I don't agree with a lot of the things that Democrats are pushing.
Like what?
Like letting mass people into the country, like DEI, all that shit. I don't agree with any of that.
Okay, on the first point about letting people into the country, how did Biden and Harris let people in the country?
They opened up the border.
Okay, what policy did they open the borders with?
I don't study policy. All I know is what I see.
All you know is what like Fox News and Elon Musk told you, right?
No, I don't watch Fox News.
So then how do you know that they opened the borders?
I just exist on these same platforms that you do, bud.
So then how do you know that the Biden-Harris administration opened the borders?
Well, why did things get so bad in these last few years?
I mean, I could answer that question next. No, you're not going to pivot away from the claim that you made.
What?
You said that they opened the borders. How did they open the borders?
Did I say that they opened the borders, Dean, or did I say that they're letting a bunch of people into the country? Because you said that you opened the borders. You said
that they had opened the borders. There's 5,000 people watching. You're not going to get out of this one.
I'm not afraid of all your little cronies, but you said
terrified.
that. You literally said they opened the border. I said that they let a bunch of people in.
Bro, look at the fucking chat. You're not going to do this on me. Like you said that they opened the borders. You're not going to get this one over. You're not going to get this one over on me. You said both of those things.
So you're making the claim right now that there wasn't a bunch of people that illegally entered the country.
No, I'm making the claim that Biden and Harris didn't open the damn borders. I'm waiting for you to tell me how that claim's true.
You're waiting for me to tell you that it's true, that it's not true that they didn't open the border. You're saying that the border is closed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we have closed borders. That is true.
So what happened that people are just running in here rampant? What?
Sure, the expiration of Title 42. Gracie, I appreciate you for the corgi. So I'm going to give you a little bit of education. Title 42 was a measure placed on the southern border with the public health crisis of COVID to basically shut down all new entries into our country. It had to expire when that public health crisis ended. And when it expired, we saw a massive surge of individuals coming into our country because of not only the expiration of Title 42, but also inflation onset in other countries because of COVID as well. Now we should evaluate the response of the Biden-Harris administration because the upsurge and roar of people coming in was natural, normal, and expected after the expiration of Title 42. And their response was to first draft and push effective bipartisan border legislation through the House and the Senate, in which they did, but then Trump torpedoed it by telling the Republicans to vote against it. So if anything, Donald Trump is the cause of our quote-unquote open borders, and Donald Trump is the cause of a continually high rate of entry because he's the one that torpedoed the bipartisan border legislation.
Why would he do that, though?
Yeah, because it made the Democrats look bad. It gave you the talking point that you're giving me right now. That's why.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, like if that border legislation got passed all those years ago, you wouldn't have any reason to come up here and say, "Oh, bad borders."
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that one.
Mm-hmm. I have one last question for you. Would you ever vote for someone held liable for grape?
I don't know. I've watched you ask this question so many times. Yes, I would. I'm just gonna go with that one for now.
Okay, would you ever vote for someone held liable for raping a kid?
No.
So why would you vote for someone held liable for raping an adult but not a kid?
I mean, where's the physical evidence that he did the deed?
Yeah, we'll get there next. First, answer my question.
No, about the kid, no, I'm not. No.
So why would you vote for someone that's raped an adult but not a kid?
Well, it is. Would you agree that those are two different things?
Yep. Now, what's the difference? What's like the relevant difference? I want to agree that they're relevantly different. Like,
okay.
Like there's obviously differences between grape and an adult and grape and a kid. Like one's an adult, one's a kid. But there's no relevant difference insofar as that grape is grape.
Right. So I would not vote for someone that did that to a kid, and I would not.
But why would you vote for someone that did that to an adult?
So please tell me what's the evidence.
Bro, once again, I said that we'd get there. First, we're going to stay on track with the topic that you said you would vote for an adult rapist, but not a child rapist.
Right.
So why would you vote for him in one scenario but not the other?
Because I don't know all the facts surrounding the case, and I don't necessarily believe.
Bro, the facts surrounding the case don't have nothing to do with this. You said that you would vote for him if he had raped an adult, but you wouldn't vote for him if he had raped a child. Why?
Sure. because in the incident of him raping an adult, I don't know the surrounding circumstances of that. I don't know if it's true or what, the evidence.
Bro, once again, we're not even having a discussion on if it happened or not. I literally asked you, if Donald Trump raped an adult, then would you vote for him? You said yes. Just like I asked you, if Donald Trump raped a kid, then would you vote for him? You said no. So when you are now introducing this
Now you're
conversation of like
asking why.
evidence to
Now
surrounding
you're
if it
asking
occurred, I'm
why.
asking you why you answered yes in one case but no in the other.
Right. So the why is because I don't know the evidence surrounding the case, and I don't know.
Bro, stop it. I'm
That's
gonna give you
why
one
I would vote for it.
I'm gonna literally give you one last chance, okay? Okay. You said if he raped an adult. Assuming that happened. We don't need to talk about evidence or if it happened or not. Assuming that it happened, you said you'd vote for him, even if you knew that with certainty that would occur. Okay? But assuming with certainty that you knew that he raped a kid, you said you wouldn't vote for him. Why do you hold a different answer there?
Because despite the bad, I think he's going to take care of us.
Well, I mean, wouldn't he still take care of us despite the bad on your worldview, even if he raped a kid?
No, that's wrong. But did he?
Okay, so you're saying that it's wrong to rape a kid, but it's not wrong to rape an adult?
No, that's not what I'm saying, and you know that.
So then what are you saying? Why is your answer yes in one scenario but no in the other? Use your brain, bro.
The answer in both scenarios is no. So
you want to vote for him if he raped Eugene Carroll. So
can we
great.
move on to what the evidence is? Because I really want to hear this from you.
So I just want to clarify, if Trump raped an adult woman, you want to vote for him, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so Donald Trump raped an adult woman, and you said civilly liable for doing so by an anonymous jury of his peers, right, in 2022, after 2 years of deliberation inside of a courtroom. The victim's name is Eugene Carroll, and the evidence submitted to the jury to prove that Trump had raped her was medical records from the 90s indicating that Trump had raped her. Then the consistency between the reported medical records, her own testimony, and the testimony of 7 others, as well as she attempted to submit a dress with male DNA on it that she claimed Trump had raped her in, but then Trump refused to provide his DNA to the court to be tested that against the dress, only providing us with more reason to believe that he's guilty.
How come they couldn't just get his DNA?
Because it's a civil court.
Well, why is it in civil court and not criminal?
Because the statute of limitations had passed for it to be persecuted criminally, but not to be persecuted civilly.
So she waited. That's why.
Yes.
That's why it's civil court and not criminal, because she waited a long time to come out with this.
Yes.
Okay, and the physical evidence, you're saying medical records, like what, the doctor's visit after it happened?
Therapist notes.
Okay, therapist notes. I mean, how reliable could those be?
Yeah, in conjunction with all the evidence submitted, I believe that we have reason to believe that it occurred to be on a reasonable shadow of a doubt.
What'd you say?
Yeah, they're like state licensed medical records. In conjunction with all the other evidence, I believe that it proves that it occurred beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. And once again, a jury of 9 unanimously indicated that it was true when they didn't need to.
And they didn't need to. What do you mean by that? They're on the jury.
Well, it could have been a 6-3 verdict, and he still would have been held liable. But all 9 of them had deemed that he did rape her, including 2 Trump supporters.
Okay. And so therapist notes, that's the main evidence.
No, it was the therapist notes in conjunct with the testimony, all right, in conjunct to the, Honora, thank you for the $5 on Vim, I appreciate you for the love. In conjunct to the Access Hollywood tapes, where in the early 2000s he says that he just likes to grab women by the P word without asking first, and that he just likes to kiss them, he can't stop, when that's exactly what she had reported in the therapist notes, as well as her testimony, as well as the testimony of others. And we know that the testimony, that the therapist notes were from 1996, before Trump came out and said that he likes to do this to women. And then also other evidence would be the fact that he just lied a lot in the case. He said that he had never met her, which he was then presented with a picture of them together. He said that he never raped her because she wasn't his type, but then he confused her with his ex-wife that was his type. So he was caught lying there too. And in conjunct to all the evidence, we have more than enough reason to believe that he's guilty.
Damn. I don't know. I still think that why did she wait? You know, it's kind of weird. Why?
It's not weird at all. Like, actually,
It's all spawning in right now.
6 out of 10 women that get raped never report it to the authorities in a lifetime. So why do you think it's weird that one did 23 years later?
Yeah, I guess
You can't answer that question.
I guess it's reasonable, but
Right.
I don't know. I still don't trust the whole thing surrounding that case. You know, we've seen
Why not?
things get tampered before. Take the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. They both had therapists. Those didn't mean shit, right? That was a waste of time. So there's wiggle room for things to get muddy there.
And what is it?
What?
And what is it? Like, I mean, you know that you're being intellectually dishonest. You know that you don't have an argument
You
here.
know, do people do that? I think they do. You know.
Wait. So she knew that he was going to run for president in 2015, like in 1996. She paid off a therapist to keep it quiet and to take those notes, only for those notes to then be put in the state records for the next 23 years. And she was also clairvoyant in the sense that she knew that he was going to go on record in the early 2000s saying that he liked to do this with women. Like, do you think E. Jean Carroll's like Jesus 2.0?
That would be a really long con. I think you're right about that. If the notes, the actual therapist notes were old, they were from the 90s, like you say, then yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so then you shouldn't vote for Trump. But is there anything else that you want to go over here today, man? Yeah, because
Right? Would you agree?
people
Change, right? I don't think he's about all those things he used to be about.
Okay, so now you've agreed that you have no argument to contest the fact that he's a rapist. So literally fucking like 10 minutes ago, you told me that you never vote for a rapist.
In this case, I'm gonna have to make an exception.
Of course, and that's MAGA. I'm just gonna go to move on to the next guest. Your brain's too rotted. Like that's MAGA. That's MAGA. That's what it is, guys. That's what it is. That's seriously what it is. It's seriously what it is. It's bad unless it's Trump. It's terrible unless it's Trump. Hey, Hard, are you voting for Trump?
No, I'm not voting for Trump, but I'm an independent and I have never voted. I just turned 18, so I was wondering what the benefits would be for voting for Kamala.
Yeah, sure.
Since I kind of have doubts about both of them.
We'll just go over it real quick. Are you pro-choice?
Yes.
Yeah, codification of federal protections for a woman's right to choose, reinstitution of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, totally. My only doubt about Kamala Harris. Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only doubts about her was like some of her views of the criminal justice system.
Like what?
I was noticing in some of the laws that were passed under her in Texas made it kind of harder to put like pedophiles and rapists in jail and easier to put people with like marijuana in jail.
Sorry, you cut us straight. You can't say the names of drugs on the lives, but that she never like operated in Texas. Hey, what's up, man? Are you voting for Trump?
Damn, bro, that's crazy. I'm from Canada, but I was just watching the shit.
Go keep drinking your maple syrup. Have a good day, bro. Keep watching from the sidelines. Hopefully we'll win for you. What's up, Speak? Are you voting for Trump?
Actually, no, I'm not. But I had a couple questions that you talked about a little bit.
Hit the Discord, bro. I do appreciate you for coming up, and I apologize for kicking you. Please show some love to the guest, guys. Thank you so much for everyone that's coming up here that's not voting for Trump. I do love you guys, and I feel bad when I have to kick y'all out. Hey, Dander, you've been a little bit of a psycho on Twitter, man. Fernando, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love, Fernando. Let's get some massive W Fernandos in the chat. Thank you so much for the $10. Hey, Dander, are you here, man? Dander, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, you've been a little bit of like a psycho stalker on Twitter, man.
Dean, smile real quick.
I mean, are you gonna take a screenshot?
No.
Do you want me to sign it? Okay, dude, what's up? Why are you so weird?
Dean, let's debate real quick, and then we'll get into the weirdness. You'll figure it out, maybe.
You know, speak your truth, bro. You've seriously been posting some weird shit like all over the internet about me and Parker. That's why I wanted to bring you up here. I mean, you've been saying like, dude, guys, this guy's been like really weird, like very, very weird. He's been like posting like gifs in my Twitter responses of like things like crawling backwards, and he's like, "Hi, Deanie Poo," and like he spams it, and all. He's very obsessed. But let's. I'm actually kind of scared of him. Yo, Lex, thank you so much for the motorcycle. I really appreciate you for the love, Lex. Let's get some massive W Lexes in the chat for the motorcycle. I really appreciate you for the love. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much, Lex. But let's hear it. Take it away. What do you got for me?
Dean, do you know the terminology behind skin tight white rib tank tops?
Skin tight white ripped tank tops. Yeah, like people like have called them like, I'm guessing you're referencing like the term like wife beater.
I am.
Yeah, like I don't use that term to refer to them, but I'm guessing that's what you're referring to.
Thank you for answering that, Dean. Those agencies that rhyme with gay, what do they often wear?
Repeat that?
I don't repeat myself.
Did anyone understand what he just said?
Oh, they know.
Oh, like
Deanie Bear.
oh,
they know.
the triple K. Okay, yeah. What about the triple K?
Deanie Bear. What do they usually wear?
Like these big old like white suits.
No. That's when they're in costume.
Okay, well, I don't know what like lunatic white supremacists wear outside of their little costumes.
So you don't think that it was disrespectful to your viewers to wear a wife beater after coming off of your 3-day hiatus on being sad because you had the hard R dropped on you?
So first of all, like I don't.
And then you come back and wear wife beaters?
So 3 points. First of all, like I didn't say the hard R. Second of all, like I don't like to refer to them as wife beaters. Let's just call them tank tops. And then third of all, no, that's like not disrespectful in the slightest. I'd gone back from the gym.
Dean?
Yeah?
Sit tight, buddy. I'll be back.
Okay, you're running? But you wanted to talk to me so bad for like weeks.
No. All right, well then we can continue. Dean, look at my text message, the screenshots of text messages I have from you in my
Nadia,
profile.
thank you so much for the Venmo.
Don't take my word for it. Go look at I have got actual screenshots, brother.
Screenshots of what?
Go look.
I can't. I'm on live, bro. Maya, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Say, can you be our next president, please? I love you. I really appreciate you so much for the love, Maya. Massive W Maya's in the chat for the $10. I really appreciate that. Is it like the screenshots of like the slurs on Discord or like Instagram DMs? Megan, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. I appreciate you so much for the love.
No, it's some of your camper and some other videos with you and Parker.
Okay, can you stop, bros? Just stop being fucking cryptic. Engage in a conversation.
I'm not being cryptic.
You are, bro. What do you want to show me? What do you want to tell me?
Is black a color?
Is black a color? Yes, black is a color.
It is. Are you sure about that?
Are you gonna say some shit about how it's like the absence of color, the absence of light, or like
no,
all colors out
black
of
is not considered a color.
Bro, what are you yapping about?
No, it's not considered a color.
What the
Dean,
fuck is he saying?
People of color is all of us. And black's not even considered a color,
Wait,
Dean.
so you're saying that Trump is a person of color?
Absolutely, so am I.
Dude, what the fuck are you saying? Bro, you've lost the damn plot. You've lost the damn plot. Wait.
Is black a color, Dean?
Yes, black is a color. Yep, it is.
Google it for us and show your viewers if it's a color.
Black is a color, bro. Bentley, thank you so much for the 25. Never mind. Bentley, I appreciate you for the nice DM. And then the anonymous donor, thank you for the $25. I appreciate you so much for the love, for the $25. Let's get some W's for Anon in the chat for the 25. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Dean, do you have matching calf tattoos with anyone?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any tattoos.
Okay.
Dude, what is he saying? Chat, should we?
The type of guy that would like get like matching tattoos with somebody in your family.
No, I don't have any tattoos anywhere on my body.
Oh, all right. So back to being black being a color. Is white a color?
Yeah, white's a color, black's a color. When I say color, I'm just referencing like different shades, like with like on the color charts. You know what I mean? Very simple.
So I'm not a person of color being white. That is considered a color.
Well, when we use the term person of color, right, we are going to be referencing like members of the BIPOC community and not white people. It's just how we use the term. Okay.
So just like you use the term.
Okay, thank you so much for the $1 on Venmo. Okay, so I mean, like, a lot of things have come out about me in my past, and things and like slurs that I've said at younger ages, but none of those things have included the hard R. Like, I don't know where that one's coming from. You're just lying. Studio, thank you so much for the money again. I really appreciate you for the love.
It depends on how you use the term. So I asked you, when you use the term that starts with an N and ends with
Can you show me where? Wait 1 second. Can you show me where I use that term?
Dean, I don't have to show you anything, bud. You can go right on my profile and check it out for yourself.
Bro, I'm more than willing to have like honest and transparent conversation with you and anyone that wants to come up here and talk about it. But like things that were like quote unquote exposed about me, I was like using like slurs at 14, 15, and 17, but none of those included the hard R.
So, Dean, if I produced evidence that I had it of you, would you be willing to show it live on All for See?
Yes, do it right now.
You would?
Yeah, do it right now. Catherine, thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Just make sure to to blur out the word. I really appreciate you so much for the $10 to kick them. Thank you so much. Yeah, then sure, feel free.
It is.
Thank you so much for the $10, Catherine. Turn on your camera. Do the green screen. Let's see it.
No. Go on my profile and look at it.
No, throw it up on the screen.
I'll just take it to Twitter. That's fine.
No. Put it on the screen right now. Put it on the screen. Turn on your camera.
I don't
you have the ability.
But I would.
Yeah.
I
just sent you a request to turn on your camera. All right, then go to effects, click on green screen, then go into your camera roll and throw it up.
Well, once I get my camera roll situated,
Thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. No, just like pointing at the camera, so you're not on there. Just turn it on right now. I just sent you a request to turn your camera on.
No. I don't need to prove to you. You need to prove to your viewers that you didn't. I don't need to prove anything to you.
Bro, okay, wait. I'm so sorry. Last night, Trump raped a little girl. That's why we shouldn't be voting for him? Yeah, he has to prove to us all that he didn't.
A little girl?
Steph, thank you so much for the $6 and the 66 cents on Venmo to kick him an evil bit. I appreciate you for the love. Thank you so much, Steph. We'll do like $100 to kick this dude. I'm having fun with him right now.
Hey, Dean. Do you know
wait. We could just make accusations and you have to prove that they're wrong. Hey, sir, right? So
I don't have to prove anything, buddy. You do.
So you're a 50 count felon. You're like a criminal mastermind. Prove us wrong.
I'm a 50 count felon. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's true.
You're running in circles, bud, because you'll never find it. But Dean, remember something. You've already made a fool of yourself, and you're a closet Republican, Dean, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show your viewers.
PJK, I appreciate you for the anarts. Why did I become a liberal? If I was a closet Republican, why did I just hop into like conservative media and just lie, gaslight, and virtue signal because Republicans are dumb and I could have got a really big paycheck from the Kremlin? You don't understand the lack of accountability and the lack of critical thought on the right. Dude, I could be like the fucking messiah of all Republicans so damn easy just by telling y'all what you want to hear. I could be bigger than I am right now on the other side of the aisle, and that would have been the path of least resistance because I went to lost friendships and lost communications and relationships with family members as I come from an incredibly Republican area in Colorado. It's like if I was a closeted Republican, well, I'd just be a Republican online. Sarah, thank you so much for the £10 on PayPal for the Feminist King. I appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah's in the chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Dean, so you'll accept pounds, but you won't let somebody outside the United States speak on your live. That's pretty fair. I think that's nice for the viewers to know.
Wait, read off the background for me.
What background?
Why are you voting for Trump? Can non-U.S. citizens vote, sir?
I'm voting for Trump because God is.
Oh, okay. No, that's not what I said. Can non-U.S. citizens vote?
Cannot. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so that's why I don't talk to people that are not U.S. citizens, because the whole live is about talking to people that are voting for Trump.
But you'll take their money?
If they want to donate to me, they're absolutely more than able to, yeah.
Dean,
because keep in mind, not only people in the U.S. Support liberalism, progressive liberalism here home in America, because progressive liberalism and the state of politics and the economy in America impact have impacts on the global stage, right? So of course there's going to be people outside of America that support what I do.
Dean, I have a question.
Blake, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. I appreciate you for that love, Blake. Blake's in the chat. Thank you, Blake. Will you say W's for Blake? Thank Blake real quick for the $5.
Thanks, Blake. I appreciate you. Listen, if your boyfriend was pregnant and got kicked in the stomach, and
Kenna, thank you so much for the $2 on Venmo. Thank you for the love.
That child didn't make it, would you be okay with that?
No, there'd be there'd be a homicide.
It is?
Yeah, that's homicide, bro. They should be put in jail for murder. 25 to life, easy.
But that same thing isn't worth the same to you.
Kendra, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love, Kendra. W's in the chat for Kendra. Go ahead.
But abortion isn't?
Yeah, abortion's not murder because one's justified termination of human life, one's unjustified termination of human life. It's very simple. Brian, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. God is a closet liberal, so real. Thank you for the love, Brian. And Maya, thank you for the $1 on PayPal. Did God tell him that? So real. Maybe he's talking to God. Maya, thank you for the $2. For instance, do you have a car? Amy, thank you for the $2 on Venmo.
No, I don't have a car.
Okay, well, assuming you had a car, right? If you broke the windshield, would you be doing anything wrong?
Yes, I would be.
No, you could do whatever the fuck you want to your own property. You're not doing anything wrong. But if a non-consenting third party came up and broke the windshield, would they be doing anything wrong?
Non-consenting third party?
Yeah, they would. They'd be committing a crime super bad. So replace the car with a fetus in your womb and replace you with a woman with a uterus. So let's do it.
Non-consenting.
Oscar, thank you so much for the $11.11 on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love, Oscar. Let's get at least 200 W Oscars in the chat. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much.
Dean, was your mom a high school teacher?
No.
Because you seem quite smart, like your mommy was a high school teacher, Dean.
Nath Ali, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. I appreciate you for the love. Rooting from Switzerland. I appreciate you for the $5.
Does the matching tattoos now make a little more sense, Dean?
No, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Where do you think this tattoo is on my body? Doug, thank you for the coral.
It's not on your body, pal.
Matching tattoos on other people. Hey, I have a question. What's 4 plus 4?
4.
Okay, he's so fucking stupid he doesn't know basic math, so I can't do my bit. It's 8. What's 4 plus 4?
Oh, I'll let you do your thing on me. 8.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you the fuck up. Get out of here. Skedaddle. We're going to move on to our next guest. Let's go and see what our next guest has to say. If you are in the queue, make sure that you're voting for Trump today, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do want to support me, my Venmo as well as my PayPal are my bio. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, bro. Get him out of here. What's up? Are you voting for Trump?
Right now I'm undecided.
Emily, I appreciate you for the $1 on Venmo. Well, I hope that this live as a whole can make you come to a decision. I'll just ask you one thing real quick. Would you ever vote for someone held liable for raping a woman?
No, I would not.
Okay, so Donald Trump has been held liable for rape. Go ahead and look it up. Trump v. E. Jean Carroll. What's going on, Brodies? Are you voting for Trump? All right, they're not here, so we're going to move on to our next guest. Start spamming Trump, start spamming MAGA down below in the chat if you want to come up and debate. All right, that's how we find the easiest people to come up here and have conversations with. So let's go and get our next guest up in here. And by the way, guys, we're on a new account. We got a 5-day ban on the main, so hit the follow button if you haven't already. You're probably not following. Hello, Dave. Are you voting for Trump?
I am undecisive.
All right. Well, same thing that would apply to the last guest. Just ask yourself if you'd vote for a rapist. I hope that you can continue to watch the live and the live could help you come to a conclusion. Alternatively, you could also join my Discord because I love to talk to undecided voters in there. Let's go and get our next guest, Chloe, up in the live. I love you undecided voters. It makes me so happy to know that there's a lot of y'all watching. You guys are great. W for the undecided voters in the chat that we'll hopefully be able to convince with the live here today. What's going on? Are you voting for Trump, Chloe?
Kamala Harris 2024.
You're great, Chloe, but please don't waste my time. Although I do love you, and although you are based as all hell, we are just looking for debates. And when you come up here and you're not voting for Trump, you end up just wasting my time because it does kind of take a while for us to cycle guests in and out. But I do love you and I do appreciate you. Moving on here, everyone. So just give us a minute. We're going to get our next guest, Brizzy, up in here. They're loading in, guys. Just give us a minute. Phenomenal. Here we go. What's going on? Are you voting for Trump? And they're not even connected yet. There they go. Are you voting for Trump? Okay, automatically going on mute. You don't want to talk. They're too scared. They can't handle the heat. Hey, what's going on? Are you voting for Trump?
Hey, what's going on? Are you voting for Trump?
Yeah.
And they have an echo like all hell.
Is there an echo?
Julia, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. Greetings from Poland. I hope that you're well, Julia. Thank you for the love. Okay, so why are you voting for Trump?
Because he's going to do what's right for the country.
Okay, so what's like a handful of policies that he's like pushed for that you think are really good for the country?
I just go on his track record, and we were in a much better position then.
Oh, like what is one thing he did in his last term that benefited the average American more so than rich people?
Gas prices were much lower.
Yeah, and how did he cause a decrease in the price of gasoline?
Because he wants America to be energy independent, and he's pro big oil.
Okay, so we're actually like more energy independent under Biden and Harris than we ever were under Trump. We were less reliant
that's
on
not
imports.
true, Dean. That's
it is
not
true for two
Dean.
reasons. The first reason why it's true is we're less reliant on imports of oil, and the second reason why it's true is we're actually drilling for more crude oil here at home in America.
I know, and you guys keep going through that narrative, but you don't talk about the deficiency. There's a $6 million, 6 million barrel global deficiency with the amount of oil that's being produced and the amount that's being consumed. You should know that, Dean.
Shelly, I appreciate you for the $5 on Venmo. I actually do know that. It's not 6 million barrels of oil per day. It is 450 million barrels of oil per month. It's also not global, it's domestic. And it's also not a deficiency between what's being produced and what's being consumed. It's a deficiency between what's being produced and what's being refined. We could also touch on the fact here that the reason that there's less oil being refined now than there was 4 years ago is because refineries shut down under COVID. However, we have on a track record to like fix this deficiency in the next year and a half, and this wasn't caused by our current administration.
How are they going to fix it?
Yeah, just by opening up new refineries. Like given the last 3 years, we will be on track to eliminate this deficiency in the next year and a half.
What policy is that?
It's not under policy. It's just the amount of refineries that are opening or reopening, and you could find this information on EIA.gov.
Well, they just shut down the refinery after announcing they were going to open it in California based on Governor Newsom's regulation. Did you know that?
We still have, all things considered, 5 to 10 refineries reopening per year. So just check your facts, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
I think you're making that up.
No, go check out EIA. You can literally look at it for yourself. But we've already talked, right?
EIA does not talk about opening refineries.
It does. Literally Google EIA.gov refineries in service.
I already did.
Okay, well, obviously you didn't, but I mean, if you're just going to deny facts, I know that I've already talked to you because you've already made that point to me. Just go look it up, EIA.gov refineries in service. Bethany, I appreciate you for the $5 on Venmo. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Bethany. Yeah, it's there for all to find. What's up? Are you voting for Trump?
I am voting for Trump.
Okay, wow, why?
Why? Because Trump believes in the Constitution. Your candidate,
he actually didn't. He actually
Vice President, hold on, Tim Walz wants to restrict our freedom of speech. You guys seem to forget that. You seem to forget the things that your candidates have said. Kamala does not support gun rights. We can go back. Just because she claims to change her mind doesn't mean shit, dude. It doesn't. I mean, y'all, you kids get on here. You young kids get on here acting like you guys know the world when you don't.
I feel so bad for
who was the Attorney General during 2011 through 2017?
I don't know who the AG was.
Oh,
so well,
let me tell you, Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of California. During P.
If you specified California, I would have been able to tell you.
That there were police reports and there's medical evidence.
Don't say the names of any drugs. Don't say the names of any drugs. Don't say the names of any drugs.
Oh, okay. And who is the representative? Who are the hosts for the DNC? Oh, that's right. P. Diddy was a sex trafficker. Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great day, Dean.
No, don't leave. Don't run away. Don't run away. You're scared of debating me because you know that I, at my young age, is smarter than you at your ripe old age. No, she ran away. I know that she's still listening, so I'm going to go to respond to her points. So anyways, you talked about like the Democrat platform being bad for the Constitution. This is why she ran, by the way. She knew that she was cooked. So Donald Trump actually called for the termination of the U.S. Constitution and articles found within it. That was in 2021. Abby, thank you for the $5 on Venmo for constantly cooking. Right, about gun rights. He also said that we should take the guns first, and then give due process second. Right, and it's also the case that he said at a conference with Mike Pence, that he also like passed more gun control than Biden-Harris administration. He's the only one to pass any gun control. About AG of California and the state being bad. Donald Trump actually said that San Francisco is great when she was AG and DA. Then about P. Diddy, he was not the host of the DNC. Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein, how Donald Trump was buddy-buddy with him, and now he said that he liked young girls just like him.
Hello?
But that's why she wanted to run, because she wasn't ready to handle that response. What's going on, H? Are you voting for Trump?
No, Kamala.
Okay, buddy. We're just looking for people that are voting for Trump. I appreciate you for the love. Yo, Nico, thank you for the $5 on Venmo for Diddy. I appreciate you so much for the love, Nico. Let's get some W's for Nico in the chat. What's up? Are you voting for Trump?
Yeah, I would say I am.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, so why do you want to vote for Trump?
It's mostly because like of how they like or how people like view Kamala. I would say like with the girl saying something about Diddy and stuff. You know. Like, have you been down that rabbit hole?
So I'm just curious here. So what's the public perception of Kamala Harris that makes you want to vote for Trump?
So I live in Texas. I'm gonna just say that. So everything down here is Republican, right? Everything that they say about Kamala is like Kamala. I'm so sorry. Is that she's dumb, you know? And then they have like videos of like. Oh wait, don't get mad. At the same time, bro, I want you to help me understand too. You know.
Okay, if she's so dumb, then why did she fucking destroy Donald Trump in the debate?
Which one?
The presidential debate?
Explain.
So Donald Trump and Kamala Harris debated. Kamala Harris literally destroyed him so hard that he was crying about how she was wearing earrings with people feeding her information through speakers for 5 days.
Okay.
Tammy, thank you for the $5 on PayPal, saying thank you for doing what you're doing. I can't. I appreciate
so
you for the
can we
love,
get back
Tammy,
to-
you're phenomenal.
I didn't see that. I was probably working.
She was like infinitely smarter than Donald Trump. The only reason why people call her dumb is because she's a woman and people are misogynistic. That's the only reason.
That would make sense.
I'm literally telling you that her gender identity and what's in between her legs is dictating like a significant amount of the public perception on her and her intelligence. It's just misogyny.
So you think that like just this society is just misogynistic towards her?
Yes, 110%.
Understandable. Okay, well, I mean, that's all I have. I'm not, I just want to understand how you saw things and stuff,
All right, well, I appreciate you for coming up, man. What's up, Rich Poor? You voting for Trump?
Absolutely. Well, he's not afraid to do interviews. And your car example was halfway okay, halfway good, halfway bad. Because if you're renting a car and you're making payments, you can't just go out and damage the property. I get it, it's your property. But then, young man, what you got to realize is that if you're making payments on a car, you can't just go out and damage the windshield. I heard what you said. It was an okay example. I'll meet you halfway on that.
So if it's not owned by you, that's when you'd be making payments because the bank would have the title. So it wouldn't be owned by you. I said owned by you. And then secondarily, you said that she's scared of debates. So Trump has refused a second debate with her. Trump refused to go on 60 Minutes with her. Destiny, thank you so much for the galaxy. The only person refusing to engage in these in these scenarios, in these situations, is Trump, meaning that he's scared, she's not.
I'll meet you halfway. He's been through a lot. He's got a lot going on. I would love to see you
Wait,
debate.
who are you?
I would love to see you debate Ben Shapiro. I would love to see you debate Tucker Carlson.
Wait. Who are you? Someone in the chat called you, I'll meet you, Mr. Halfway Guy. And then you said that you'll meet me halfway.
Yeah, well, I've debated other people. I've debated Parker, and I've debated a couple other. This is my first time debating you, though.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, young man, you've made.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for coming out. We're just gonna move on. That's pretty funny, though. Chat seems to like you. Leo, thank you for the $5 on PayPal, saying love from Germany. Keep it up, bro. I appreciate you, Leo. Leo's in the chat. Thank you so much. What's up, David? You voting for Trump?
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. What's up, Dean? It's been a minute.
Have we talked before?
Nah, man, I made a video on you a while ago.
So you're a fan?
No, I'm not a fan, bro.
Then why are you making videos about me?
Because I just hate you, bro. I just wanted to tell you something real quick, bro.
Because you wanted to cloud off my name?
No, bro. Shut your bitch ass up. You heard?
Oh, someone's emotional. Do you
Yo,
need a baby bottle?
Let me catch you in the dirty M. I'm gonna slap the piss out you.
Okay, so we have a what? Like a 22, 23-year-old weak, insecure man that can't cope with being dumb.
Actually,
so
I'm 20, buddy.
So you just want to like pursue violence against people that disagree with you?
Nah, bro. I want to slap you, and I'm about to get that butt, bro. Make sure you protect that hole, bro, because I'm coming.
Jesus fucking Christ, David. We're gonna move on to our next guest. I don't know. Like, I don't know why it always like results down to like gay intercourse for these like. Well, how old are you? Okay, it always reduces down to like gay intercourse, or like same gendered attractions with these like self-referenced, like conservative cis het white men. I don't know. You know what I mean? What is up, Colby? Are you voting for Trump?
I'm not. I actually was hoping for your help because this.
Kobe, please join my Discord and at me in the chat. I'll read your message. If you come up on my live in front of 7.6K people and ask for help, you probably had a good reason to. Hit the Discord, ask me in there. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to our next guest. Guys, make sure if we are in that queue that we are voting for Trump. And then once again, if you do want to support me, my Venmo as well as my PayPal are in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms compared to about 30% here on TikTok. And I use all the proceeds on those platforms to fund things such as travel, hotel, and stay for all the podcasts and things I've been doing recently. But I appreciate you for the love. What's up, Nikki? Are you voting for Trump?
Hi. No, I'm 59 and I'm voting for Kamala.
Guys, please stay out of the queue if you're not voting for Trump. I love you guys and you are phenomenal, but please just stay out of the queue. But Christian, thank you so much for the meteor shower. Let's get at least 300 W Christians in the chat. Thank you for the meteor shower. You are phenomenal. And Stella, thank you for the hand arts. What's up, Alexis? Are you voting for Trump?
I am actually undetermined and hoping to get some clarity on a lot of questions.
I'm just looking to talk to Trump voters. I'd love to talk to you in my Discord. But you feel free to ask like a question while I'm trying to get our next guest up in here.
Okay, so one of my questions was his policy on the education system and specifically defunding those that are interested in teaching about slavery and the Native American people. Is this true? I just feel like a lot of times conversations are cut off and you don't hear the follow up. Do you have any insight onto this?
Christian, thank you for the $5 on Vimeo. I don't have any insight onto it, but it's probably true. Like, I'm not gonna lie. He said it on Fox apparently, but
Yes.
yeah. Feel free to ask questions in my Discord. I'm hanging out in there all the time. Yes, it is true. Reliable source in the comment section just verified that. But thank you for coming up, Alexis. Joanna, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. Let's get some W's in the chat for Joanna with the $15. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, Joanna. You are phenomenal. Thank you so much. Joanna is down below with the $15. What is up, Sam and Jesse? Are you guys voting for Trump?
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. I swear to God, these motherfucking liberals, I swear to God, they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
You got soft hands.
I swear to God, all I want to do is...
So why are you voting for Trump? Sam?
Yeah, so I'm worried about World War III, and I don't think that Kamala would be able to, or Kamala, whatever the fuck her name is. Sorry.
Kamala.
I don't think that she would be able to be a wartime president if we were to go into war. Trump had Trump had really good relations with other countries.
No. Stop it right there. He's terrible for a wartime president. And we know that. We literally know that. We know that
There was so much peace during his presidency. Look at where we're at right now. We don't want another 4 years of Biden, Kamala, whatever. The puppet masters who control them. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you talk over people all the time, but go ahead.
Okay. So do you want me to talk over you too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go on and talk over you. And
I'm sorry.
On mute. So yeah, I'd actually say that Trump is very bad for global conflicts, especially when we're talking about war. He's a warmonger. So as of recently, he's told Israel to flatten Iran, and he says that he'd flatten them himself. Okay, like threatening to nuke and destroy other countries that are really close to having nuclear powers is not good for World War III pressures. It's also the case that he wants to continue to fund and support Israel to finish the job that they started to destroy Palestine. That's also just fucking insane. Fabio, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. Fabio's in the chat for the $20. I really appreciate you for that. I really do. Thank you so much, Fabio. Fabio's down below. Not to mention that he wants Russian expansion. He's Putin's puppet. Putin thinks he's easy to manipulate, and he's believed Putin over U.S. intelligence, and he doesn't support Ukraine to regain the territory that they've lost to Russia. Right? Russian expansion is bad. That's an imminent threat. That's why NATO is formed, and that is probably the biggest threat of World War III is if they expand and gain more power, influence, and control on the global stage. And then also we could say here that he tried to launch a coup to overthrow our own government. And if he can't protect us from internal threats, and he is the internal threats, I don't think he'll be able to protect us from external runs. One positive thing that I could say about Donald Trump is because he's a fucking insane motherfucker, he scares other countries, right? But that's not a good thing in the long term. Because that prevents us from making sustainable long-term agreements and accords with other countries. It just kind of scares them in the immediate short term.
All right, so a powerful man is someone who has the power to hurt someone but doesn't. And I believe that is what Trump is. Kamala doesn't have the power. Okay,
these are people. He's raped a woman. He's defrauded young adults at Trump University. He's a 34-count felon. He tried to overthrow our own democracy.
Countries do fear him, and that's important. It is important to be.
Wait, if Putin fears him, then how come Putin is engaged in election interference in the 2016?
I mean, how come during Trump's presidency, Putin?
If Putin fears him, then how come Putin engaged in election interference in the 2016, 2020, and 2024 election to get him reelected? Putin doesn't fear him. Putin thinks that he's easy to manipulate. That's coming from leaked Kremlin documents. We know that Putin wants Trump back in office because Putin thinks that he's easy to manipulate. Gotta unmute your mic, dude. Okay, Sam doesn't... All right, buddy, Sam, you have to click on your profile picture, then click the icon of the mic. Stop being insufferable, okay? Okay, well, the bot can't figure it out. So while he's figuring it out, I guess we're going to go and get another guest up in here. Yeah, like, these motherfuckers literally can't figure out how to click two buttons. That really speaks to their intelligence. Hey, Gary, are you voting for Trump?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, why?
I mean, I wanted to talk about something else. I mean, we could go into that too. I want to know why Democrats are flipping out about Trump going to McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that real quick. Because it was like just staged and corny. I personally don't think like there's any big issue with that. Him shutting it down. I think he has to do that because of like like security concerns. I don't find any issue with it apart from that it's corny. But like a lot of people just think it's kind of a joke. Fabio, I appreciate you for the $20 on PayPal. I appreciate you so much for the love, Fabio. Massive W Fabio's in the chat right now for the $20 on PayPal. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. But like people do this all the time. Like, you know, like Kamala Harris did that with her phone call with like Tim Waltz, etc. Like that's politics.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I thought it was amazing. But then you have all these people, these Democrats, like flipping out about it. But it's like, yeah, he just got shot in the air. Obviously, he needs security. So I thought that was kind of dumb.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that's also like really corny to think that that's amazing. Like, why do you think that's amazing?
I mean, I think a lot of people find it amazing that he's going and doing a regular job that people have.
Especially since Kamala lied about doing it.
Oh, wait, Sam, let's talk about that. How do you know that Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's?
Because it's on the internet.
It's on. Oh, did he really just say that?
I mean, where is all your facts
holy
from?
fucking shit! Wait, okay, so if it's on the internet, it's true. Really?
Oh, I mean, all of your facts about Trump wanting to take over
God.
is where did all your facts come from during that debate? Anyways,
Becca, I appreciate you for the $2 on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love. So you could you just like name a claim that I hold to, and I'll give you the source. But okay,
CNN, MSNBC, is that where you're getting all your stuff from?
No, literally name the claim, and I'll tell you the source. What do you want to know?
Where you said he wanted to start like nuclear warfare.
Are you talking about when he said that he wanted to nuke Moscow if they invaded Ukraine under his presidency? Like those words came out of his own mouth. Like Trump said that.
I'm gonna look.
Okay, while he's looking that up, what's up, Gary? Why are you voting for Trump?
Well,
this Sam guy's pretty off the fucking walls. This Sam guy's pretty off the walls. Go ahead though.
Is there proof that she worked at McDonald's?
No, I doubt that any proof exists because I don't expect him to keep employment records for 40 years.
I mean, it's McDonald's. They're huge. They should have it. But
no, no, not even hospitals do that. They don't keep employee records like 40 years later from the 70s for a minimum wage worker. And also,
I
that's
can't
just, like,
find anything
strange, bro.
online.
Like I used to work at Wendy's, and I've like told a lot of people about that online. How come like no one out of the millions of people that have seen my content has ever asked me for proof that I worked at Wendy's?
The thing you told me to fact check isn't online, by the way, anywhere.
Okay, I'll just provide you a source. It's like really dumb to lie about this, because then when I provide you a source, then you're all caught up.
I mean, literally nothing on the internet.
Okay, just give me 3 seconds, dude. Go ahead, Gary.
Oh no, I mean, I finished what I was saying. We could go into policies and stuff after we're done talking here.
Yeah, so I could give you, yeah, there we go. So this is coming from The Independent, and CRUX. Just look up at The Independent. Trump suggested that he would have bombed Russia and China. You could also find this from Vanity Fair.
You said there was a video of him saying it.
I said that this is also from Vanity Fair. Trump, if I was president, I threatened to drop a nuclear bomb on Russia.
Okay, those are quotes. I want to hear him saying it like you said.
Okay, this is like, okay, you said that there was nothing online to suggest that this was true.
You said that there was a video of him saying it.
Hey, Sam, 1 second. You said that there's nothing online that said that this was true. I give you like 5 cooperating
There's propaganda. You said there was a video.
Okay, so
I don't believe in propaganda.
How do you know that this is propaganda?
Because does the mainstream media not lie to you? Does most of why would they not want to lie to you? You have to go. You can't look at all these propaganda.
Okay, bro, you're so brain rotted. Do you believe that Trump
No,
won
that's
2020?
you, bro.
Did Trump win 2020?
Of course he did. Bro, mail-in ballots and not requiring voter ID.
Holy fucking wait,
dude! It's ridiculous what they're doing.
I just want to ask you a question. Do you believe in dinosaurs?
Yes.
Do you think the Earth is flat?
No.
Okay, how do you know that Trump won 2020?
Because there is just so much proof of. I mean, there's videos of.
Could you show me the proof?
Yeah.
Wait, Dean, are you going to accept the 2024 results?
Yep, probably will.
But what if there was massive? What if there was massive?
Morgan, thank you so much for the $1 Venmo.
What if there? I don't know if I could say election for on TikTok.
If there's like widespread voter fraud, then no, I want to accept it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that Democrats try to put her in a perceived notion, and they try to get Republicans to say they will verify it no matter what.
Fabio, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. I really appreciate you for the love. Massive W's for Fabio in the chat with the $20 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Wait, so can you give me any evidence of widespread voter fraud in 2020 that sufficiently overturned the results of the election?
Yeah, 1 in 6 Biden voters said that they would have changed their mind if they knew about the Hunter laptop store.
Okay, can you give me a source for that?
Yeah, I think it was by TIPP.
No, I'd like actually give me a source. No, just say TIPP.
I'll find it again. 1 second.
Hunter's a piece of work, isn't he?
So Sam, were you able to? So what is the is the evidence of widespread? Okay, by the way, I can't hear you when you're off app. You got to be on here.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. So what's the evidence for widespread voter fraud in 2020?
I mean, there's a lot of evidence, but I mean, I just have one video in particular. I have a video in particular that I wanted to show of a woman stuffing ballot boxes, and then.
No, I'm asking you for evidence of widespread voter fraud. Like even like the
that is voter fraud.
One second. Even like the specific video that you're giving me is most likely fake or altered in some way.
It's not fake.
Like,
you can.
Dude, you understand?
AI wasn't good enough at the time.
Hey, Sam, one moment, bro. So you understand that he won by a margin of millions of votes. I'm asking you for evidence of voter fraud for millions of votes. And the reason that we know that there was not widespread voter fraud was because Trump incessantly investigated this within his own board. He invested millions of dollars into a board of people to investigate the outcome of the 2020 election. They all come up empty-handed with literally no evidence, right? And then he went on to bring everything he tried to find or that he could find to 63 handpicked court cases, 34 courts with Republican-appointed judges, and 17 courts with Trump-appointed judges. They all told him that he had absolutely no sufficient evidence to prove his claims. Right, and then specifically after this all occurred, right, then we saw movies like 1,000 Mules coming out that got contested and challenged in court. Then the directors of 1,000 Mules admitted that they had no evidence for this shit that they were saying. And you got to see here that this is big lie conspiracy theory. You were just telling me that I'm a victim of propaganda because I believe things that are justifiably true and corroborated given evidence, but then you turn around and you believe in big lie conspiracy theory that has no corroborated evidence, and the only evidence for it is Trump's own word of mouth. Get a load of this absolute partisan fuck, right, that can't distinguish between what's true and what's false. And it's sad because, Sam, you sound like a young guy, and the fact that you've let your brain get so fucking rotted at such a young age is not only astounding, but it's honestly sad. I feel bad for you.
All right. Yeah, I don't think either of us are going to get anywhere, but I appreciate your time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
We're going to move on to our next guest for the 6.1 thousand people hanging out with us in here today. Let's go to get our next guest up on the live literally right now. Let's go and see what Adrian has to say. Yo, Megan, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. I work in HR. Prior to electronic filing, records weren't retained for super long periods. Yep, that explains it. W. Megan's in the chat. And Devin, thank you so much for the $1 on Venmo as well. What's up, Adrian? Are you voting for Trump?
Hi, Dean. Can you hear me? Because I'm calling from Europe right now.
I love you, brother. But we are just looking to talk to people that are voting for Trump. Europe is beautiful, though. I wish I was in Europe right now myself. I bet a lot of the people in the chat did. Okay, if you want to support me, my Venmo as well as my PayPal or my bio, I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. It means the world.
Hey,
What's
man.
Up, liberal slayer?
What's up, man? I was just wondering, so I had a question. Theoretically, you were talking about the Constitution and how Donald Trump's not constitutional. And
just engaged in anti-constitutional behaviors, yeah.
Yeah, but he said that something about getting rid of the Constitution. But if he was president, he would be able to do whatever he wants with the Constitution.
No, actually.
How? If he's the president and he comes up with a team and they just because he could do that. And if he comes up with a better Constitution, then why couldn't we just have that be an idea? I mean, the Constitution, well, everyone's about progressing and being progressive, but the Constitution was written so long ago. I mean, it was written so long ago. Why wouldn't we be able to change it a little bit to make it better for the American people?
Oh my fucking God. How can you call yourself a conservative MAGA patriot then say that you literally want to eradicate, destroy, and renew the U.S. Constitution?
No. I mean, I'm a huge patriot, but that's exactly why I think
No. You think that you're a patriot constitutionalist?
I mean, I love the Constitution, but I do think that things that were written into law so long ago, we could change.
We do. It's through constitutional amendments.
What?
We can change the Constitution through amendments.
What do you mean?
Okay, you don't know
By
what
just adding new amendments? Just adding new amendments
Yes.
and removing them? Okay, so exactly, like, he could just come in and remove some of the amendments and add some new ones that are better.
That's not exactly how it works. That's
Dude, see, you don't know. You're living in a false reality, I think.
Dude, no, the president can't
I know but you're super smart, man. The thing is, I give you credit because you're super smart. But
the president can't just like wake up and be like, nah, I'm gonna get rid of that one, replace that one. That's Congress, baby.
Okay, but the thing is, like, dude, you are super smart, man. I think you know like a good amount of some topics, but I definitely don't think you're correct on most things. So whatever you want.
It's you again. Oh my God, this is the third.
What are you saying?
It's him again. Guys, it's him again. It's the same fucking dude.
What are you talking about?
It's
I'm just
the
saying
same fucking dude.
Dude, the thing is, he could easily. What are you laughing about? Who is the same dude? What are you saying?
Dude,
well, why wouldn't he know if his team?
You are by far.
What are you guys saying? The thing is, you guys, people say like it's just annoying, man. And he could easily have a team that could do that. And you think, you just think you're so smart.
That is by far the funniest. No, that is the single-handedly the funniest troll that we've ever had on the live. He's dedicated to the bit. He is fucking dedicated to it. No, he is so dedicated to it. No, we love him. We love him. He is a funny ass troll. I really like that guy. If you're watching, you probably dropped the bit now that you get kicked off the stream. You're great. You're a really funny troll. You're dedicated to the bit. We're gonna move on to our next guest. What's going on? Are you voting for Trump?
I am. First off, I'm gonna ask how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. So why are you voting for Trump?
I'm voting for him just because I kind of like him in general. I'm not really satisfied with the Biden-Harris regime that we've had in the last 3.5 years. I understand a lot of it has to do with Trump as well, if we're going to talk about the tax credits and the tax going on. So I'm not fully on board one more than the other.
Okay, yeah. So what aren't you satisfied with the Biden-Harris regime in the last 4 years? What's one policy that they influenced to get passed through Congress that you didn't like?
One of the things that I'm not happy with in general is just going to be start off with immigration.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you about a policy that they passed, but we could talk about immigration too. I'm actually quite satisfied with the response. The crisis started because of the expiration of Title 42. It had to expire, and we knew that the crisis would begin. We should evaluate their efficacy and their responsibility based upon the response to the crisis. And they responded to the crisis by drafting bipartisan legislation and influencing it through Congress. The only reason why it didn't pass was because Trump called the Republicans and told them to torpedo it. So that was Trump's fault, not Biden and Harris. And then after Trump had torpedoed that bipartisan legislation, they enacted effective executive orders that decreased and plummeted border crossings by upwards of 70%, putting us at lower levels now than any point at the end of Trump's term.
Let me ask you this. What was your opinion on the stay in Mexico that Biden overturned?
Yeah, so not only did it impact a very small group of people, but it was also just a humanitarian disaster. And then further yet on top of that, it was just ineffective. Because after the implementation of that in 2019, we only saw border crossings increase, and Mexico said that they wouldn't renew the deal.
One of the things I wanted to ask you going back, I was kind of listening to you earlier, World War III. What makes you believe, and I'm not here to criticize your opinion, just asking for your genuine belief. What makes you think, hey, we're in a better position under Harris than Trump?
Yeah, for World War III?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's a warmonger, she's not. He actively threatens other countries with nukes, and he calls for other countries to invade and attack and flatten other countries. That's just something that we don't see the Biden-Harris administration doing. They're more focused on long-term cooperative agreements on a global scale to reduce global tensions, and then he's more focused on the short-term scare factor that actually inevitably increases global tensions.
My issue that I have with that is only one, realistically. Is that it would be kind of different if Trump was never in office, but when he was in office for those 4 years ago, we never got into any type of world war or anything close to that.
No, I mean, we haven't gotten into a world war under Biden and Harris's term either.
I think unrelated to them, we are getting closer to that just with Russia and North Korea playing kind of,
Sure, I could agree with you. The tensions are higher and closer to a World War II than we were under World War III than we were under Trump. But I think that's completely unrelated to the presidencies.
What do you think about the handling of Ukraine? Not Ukraine. I meant to say Gaza and Palestine.
I don't like supporting Israel. I think that we should have had a long-term conditional allyship with them set in stone after the 40s and the 60s. where we basically said that we would help them, we would provide for them, we would give them funding, we would protect them as long as they like upheld particular criteria, like in humanitarian concerns. I feel like the U.S. really fucked that up a long time ago. But you know, now with where we're at now, we shouldn't continue to support Israel. But of course, like Trump wants them to flatten Palestine, continue their war crimes, and destroy Iran as well. So.
One of the things you said that was interesting earlier was the creation of NATO in regards to Ukraine. I guess my only issue with that is that Ukraine's not part of NATO, whereas Israel is.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I think that, like, I don't think that allyships are unconditional. I think that that's inherently immoral.
No, and I agree. My question to you is that would you personally believe that Ukraine should have been indoctrinated into NATO a long time ago? And why do you think they haven't been?
Yeah, I'm fine with Ukraine being in NATO. I don't know why they haven't been. I'm not an expert.
Okay. All right, hey, brother, I appreciate your time. I apologize on my conservative brethren who treated you just absolutely horrible, man. So, I
appreciate you for coming up.
Of course, man. Take care.
Have a good one. I kind of let the guests dictate like where we go with the live. If they just want to ask questions, I'll let them. You know, because I feel like some of the information is just important to get out there. But of course, you know, here are for debates. But he was chill. He was chill. So we're gonna go and move on to our next guest. And also, I'm pretty like I don't think Israel's a part of NATO. Like I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine that they are. I really cannot imagine that Israel's a part of NATO, right? What's up, Jamie? Are you voting for Trump?
No, I'm not, and I know you don't want people.
I do appreciate you for coming up. We're just looking for Trump voters. Yeah, okay. Now, yeah, they're not. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, why? Like, I mean, like the point of NATO is to fight against like Russian expansion. What would like Israel have to do with that? You know what I mean? But good to know that I'm right there. Moving on to our next guest. What's up? Are you voting for Trump?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? You voting for Trump?
I was actually just joining to just hear why you're voting for Kamala.
Okay, guys, please. I'm just looking to debate Trump supporters. I do love y'all though. The last two guests, y'all have been based. We love you here. Just W's for the guests. Someone in the chat says, why not vote for Jill Stein? Because Jill Stein is like, she's so harmful, guys. We'll talk about it one of these days. What's up, Jerry? Are you voting for Trump?
Craxies. Come on, brother. Craxies.
Come on, brother. All right, moving on to our next guest, everyone. Just to give us a minute, spam MAGA, spam Trump down below in the chat. Let's go and get our next guest up in the box right now. I do apologize that this is taking a minute here, y'all. We got Megan loading in. Please open my Discord. Yeah, dude, I don't know what's going on. I told the mods to open it today. I'm actually sad that they haven't yet. Like, I may just open it myself. Like, I don't want to like overrule what the mods want to do, but like, I would really like my Discord to be open. It is open in the sense that you could join. You just have to fill out a ticket before admission. But like, the mods told me that they'd be opening it today, and they haven't so far. What's up, Andrew? Are you voting for Trump? Hello, Andrew. Hi, hello. Okay, Andrew's not here. I don't understand what's going on with the guests today. We're gonna keep inviting people up here. Spam MAGA in the chat if you are voting for Trump, and please only spam MAGA, only spam Parker if like you're Trump. That's crazy. Someone in the chat talked about Parker. Only spam MAGA or Trump if you want to come up in debates. Like not if you're just scared. Like, let's go get our next guest up in here. That's crazy. That's so insane. Don't tell Parker about that one.
Yo,
what's up? Are you voting for Trump?
What's up? I'm voting for Trump. Yes.
Okay. What time is it?
What time is it? I don't know, but I am a Trump supporter, and I wanna.
I appreciate you for coming up, man. Let's go get our next guest up in the box right now, y'all. Let's go get our next guest up in the box. What's up, man? Are you voting for Trump?
You know I am.
What's up?
Yes, I am.
You are? Why's that?
Criminal Reform Act is like a huge reason why.
Wait, say that again?
The Criminal Reform Act that Trump passed.
You're talking about the First Step Act. Yeah, those influenced under Obama, passed under Trump. And every 4 to 8 years, we typically see about 2 criminal reform bills passed. But like Trump has actively disavowed, right, facets of the First Step Act. Like he's now calling for the death penalty for drug dealers when that's actually something that the First Step Act stops. So.
When did he call death penalty for the drug dealers?
Yeah, I could give you a date. Just give me a second.
Yes.
In the meantime, guys, make sure that we're double tapping.
Are you talking about because the deaths on ethanol have increased?
Okay, say F drug, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't even do that. I don't even want that to get in. I don't even want to get that misinterpreted. I will give you a debate while our next guest is loading up in here. Everyone just give us a minute. Hey, what's up? Are you voting for Trump?
Yes, I am.
Phenomenal. Have we already spoken?
No, we haven't.
Are you lying?
No.
Okay, and by the way, for the last guess, that was on November 15th, 2022. Just look up Trump calls for death penalty for DRUG dealers. Hello, Joanna. Are you voting for Trump?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so why are you guys voting for Trump? Okay, common Trump supporters. Take them all, put them in a room, and you might be able to solve like a second grader's math homework. Vinny, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. I really appreciate you for the love, Vinny. Am I going to do a live on election night? You got
I'm
it.
voting for Trump.
Hi, are you voting for Trump?
Yes, I'm voting for Trump. I'll tell you why I'm voting for Trump.
Okay, what time is it?
Kamala, first of all, she's a woman. Women cannot be leaders, all right? They don't have the brains or the intellect to lead a country.
Okay, if
The
women don't have
second reason-
one second, I want to respond to the first reason. If women don't have the brains or the intellect to lead a country, how come they have higher IQs on average than men, and they actually outperform
That
men
is
in the context of
false.
school,
Most
universities,
studies show
and
that men have
similar fields?
IQ higher by about 5 points, first of all. First of
Okay,
all.
so
Not
give me the
cherry
study.
pick. And we can see throughout history that men have
No,
invented
wait, hold on.
almost
We're going to stop
everything.
you there. Give me the study.
Just Google men have higher IQs by 5 points, and you'll get a study on the first page.
I've actually read the study over a year ago. So the individual that wrote this study, he didn't just choose men and women on a random like gradular. He chose quote unquote tall men and quote unquote beautiful.
Can you
women.
explain to me why most CEOs and businessmen tend to be men if women are somehow smarter according to you?
Oh, so
you know,
you wanna-
women's brains are women's brains
So
are
I
10%
just want to
smaller than
clarify.
men.
You want to cut me off and change the topic while I'm debunking your study because you know it's bullshit.
You didn't debunk anything. You didn't even address the study.
I actually did address the study. So the study that you're referencing here, right, saying that men have a higher IQ on average compared to women of 5 points, right, the methodology used to conduct this study shows two groups of men and women, right? But the men were selected because they were tall, and the women were quote unquote selected because they were beautiful. They weren't two random groups.
That is false, all right? Show me your source for that.
Their study that you gave me.
Yeah, and where does it say that we only chose beautiful women and only chose tall men?
It's in the abstract of the study.
Actually, the study mentions that taller people have higher IQs, actually, and men do tend to be taller.
Oh, okay. So then they literally chose people that they believed to have higher IQs for the men, and then for the beautiful women, they were probably misogynistic and just chose women that they didn't find to be that
I'm fairly certain that you're
So
lying.
you've already
right? It does not
debunked
say
the
that at
methodology
all.
of your own study.
That's not the only study as well. It's multiple studies. I mentioned higher
Okay,
IQs.
so then give me another
and
one.
we can see, look, just use your eyes, man. There's a reason.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for the
leaders and
$5 on
businessmen are
Venmo. I
men.
appreciate you for the love. Most businessmen are most businessmen are men. So
Let me
yeah,
mention the second leader. First of all,
so I
she's
just want to
black
clarify.
and Indian.
So we'll get on to the racism next. But for this, you're saying because men disproportionately dominate a field compared to women, that means that they're better at it. Okay, right? And you're using this to draw the conclusion that they're smarter. So what percentage of surgeons do you think are male, and what percentage of surgeons do you think are female?
Well, I can Google that right now.
It's 85-15. In accordance with your logic, because most surgeons are men, that would lead you to the conclusion that what? Men are better at surgery, right?
Yeah, of course there are. Men are better at almost everything.
But the American Medical Society and the Journal of the American Medical Society did a study over 10 years with 1.7 million patients in 6 continents, and they determined that you're less likely to die and you're less likely to experience negative postoperative outcomes if you're operated on by a woman compared to a man.
I highly doubt that. Okay, so if women are,
This is seriously.
better surgeons,
I
why do men
just want
dominate
to
the
clarify. You are doubting the largest medical study conducted in the last 45 years.
Explain
This is-
why-
this-
okay,
this is
why are women
seriously-
only 15%?
this is-
Why
this
are
is
women
one
only
of the-
15%? Then
Yeah,
why are women
because-
only 15% then? Explain that to me. If
Yeah,
somehow
because
women
the
are
social-
somehow better, which is obviously false.
Okay, well, if it's so obviously false, then how come all the empirics and science disagrees with you?
And why are women only 15% then?
Yeah, because there's social
they're
stigmas that
good
exist
and
for women to
wonderful,
enter
as
into
you
this
claim.
space that don't exist. for
Why aren't they the majority?
Yeah, because there's social stigmas that exist for women to enter into this
Oh
space
yeah,
that don't
and now we
exist
get
for men.
to it. All social stigmas. It's all because of the big bad sexism stopping women from succeeding.
Yeah.
Actually, it's because they have smaller brains.
I actually think that women have denser
Women's
neurons.
brains are 10% smaller than men's. So how can
yeah.
you vote for someone who has a smaller brain?
Hey, because women have denser neurons and less gray
That's
matter in the
false.
left
They don't have
hemisphere of the
denser
brain.
neurons. They have less neurons actually.
So I'm actually like explaining this to you right now. They have less gray matter in their left putamen and denser neurons. You're talking to a neuroscience major right now, buddy.
Yeah, I highly doubt you're a neuroscience major.
I did. I changed it after my first year.
Where did you? Is it? Yeah, you said you about an online course.
I did.
about this.
I did change my change my major during my first year. You're right. You're dead. I did.
You see, that's why there's two reasons why I cannot vote for Kamala. She's a woman and she's black. And Indian.
I have a question.
Those two factors combined make her IQ significantly lower than the average person.
So like once again, we already cooked you on the bit about her being a woman. So women outperform men in the context of STEM-related fields. Women have a higher IQ on average. Women have a higher EQ on average. Women are less likely to engage in irrational, emotionally adverse activities. Men commit 95% of violent crimes. Men commit 72% of self-unaliving. Men commit 85% of hard drug substance abuse as an unhealthy coping mechanism to deal with unprocessed emotions. Men are more likely to engage in reckless driving, drunk driving, and gambling. Meanwhile, women outperform men in the context of school, going to school more, getting better grades, getting more degrees. Right. So when you make the claim that women are less intelligent than men, you're just fucking projecting. Like you have the IQ of a fucking walnut, right? You couldn't learn how to do calculus 2 if you spent the rest of your life trying it. And so you cope with your insecurities by projecting them onto the women around you. But unfortunately, don't worry, brother, I'll wake you up. Then secondly, about her race, please go ahead and explain to me why you think that black people or Indian people, which isn't a race, by the way, that's a nationality. So apparently your geographical location in which you're born determines your IQ, would impede upon your IQ. What are the biological differences between white people and black people that you think make black people not as intelligent? Of course he's rage baiting, but he actually believes in these things. So like the least I could do is just show you all how fucking stupid his beliefs are, right? That's like the least I owe to you, right? That's the least I owe to you. Oh, but don't worry. He's just this dumb little man that can't figure out how to unmute his mic because of how small his dick is. That's right. You know, honestly, he can't figure out how to unmute his mic. It's obviously because he's a man. Those XY chromosomes serving you well, buddy. Maybe if your testosterone levels were a little bit lower.
You muted me like a typical woman because you were scared that I was cooking you to death. You act like a typical female. You might be transgender for all I know.
Oh, wait. Do you think I'm a woman?
You might be a woman, actually. You're very small. You have weak facial structure, and your voice is quite low, high pitched.
Okay, so I have XY chromosomes and a penis. So a man is something other than someone with a penis and XY.
I know. Maybe you got surgery.
Oh shit! See, that's where it walks straight into the.
Let's be honest. You have XX chromosomes, for all I know.
That's where it walks straight into the progressive worldview. Look at the liberal up here on the live. And then secondly, the only reason you feminize me is because you secretly want to fuck me. I'm not gonna buy you a drink. I have a partner. Get out of my DMs.
Sorry, bro. I only fuck beautiful women.
I just want to tell you that you literally just compared me to a beautiful woman. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. It's like the biggest cope in the world. They feminize me because they want to fuck me. You're over here talking about my rosy red soft cheeks and my thin bone structure.
I don't swing that way.
You're trying to fucking fight. No. You're literally trying to. You literally are trying to fuck me. Okay, you were talking about studies earlier. Do you know there's actually studies that indicate that closeted men are more homophobic?
Yeah, I'm verbally fucking you right now.
Men. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and have you give me the biological difference between.
And you keep using me like a little bitch because you're scared.
So I have a question. What am I scared of?
You're scared of me destroying you. Intellectually, you're a scared little man. You're scared.
Okay, so we have nearly 8,000
liberal buffoon.
So we have nearly 8,000 people in here. Put a 1 in the chat if this guy's getting fucking rolled.
Yeah, and put a 2 if I'm destroying this little F word.
Thank you so much for the $2. What did you say?
Anyway, as I said.
Wait. I have a question. What's 2 squared? Did he say? Hey, buddy, you're going on pause, so I can't hear you. I'm not even muting you. Hey, what's 2 squared?
4.
What's 4 squared?
No idea.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Lindsay, thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate you for the love. I really appreciate you. Massive W's for Lindsay with the galaxy. Bro, everyone laugh at him in the chat. So this guy tries to say that white men are the most intelligent, superior group of humans on the earth, but then the white man doesn't know what 4 times 4 is? Holy fucking shit. Okay, white boy. Okay, all right. Let's slow the projecting. Hey Haley, are you voting for Trump?
I am.
Okay, Scarlett, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. I appreciate you for the love, Scarlett. W's for Scarlett in the chat. And Chrisity, thank you for the $10 on Vimeo as well. I appreciate you, Chrisity. Thank you, Scarlett and Chrisity. So Haley, why are you voting for Trump?
Well, no, I just came on here because I had one question. I feel like liberals don't like to talk to me when I actually have genuine questions, and I feel like you obviously seem pretty educated. I was wondering if and why you think it's right.
Okay, you're really cutting out. You have MAGA Mobile. I'm willing to give you just another shot here, but the MAGA Mobile is really going. Okay, repeat your question.
And
please.
become a woman.
Repeat your question, please, Haley.
You think men should be allowed to go in women's restrooms? And
No, I don't. I don't think men should be allowed. I don't think men should be allowed to go into women's restrooms. No, men shouldn't. All right, because guess what? Trans women, which is obviously what you're referring to here, aren't men. Craziness. But I mean, if you really care about men going into women's spaces, then why are you voting for Trump knowing that he boasted to Howard Stern on SiriusXM in the early 2000s about walking into the changing rooms of half-naked teenage girls in Miss Teen USA? Let's talk about Trump dragging E. Jean Carroll into a changing room and literally graping her, which is the exact stereotypical threat that you virtue signal, lie, and demonize all trans women to be.
doesn't Biden have a history of like the same things though? Like I just keep on saying like I feel like all men above like I would say like 30 years old likes young women, and like I don't know. I feel like in general, all men are kind of just sick.
Okay,
you know?
so show me what civil court held Biden liable for sexually abusing or raping a woman. Show me what unanimous jury of 9 determined that he had done it due to a preponderance of evidence. Show me one accusation from a woman accusing him of raping her that didn't and have internal contradictions with her lawyer then dropping her, with her then fleeing to Russia and joining a misinformation campaign. It doesn't exist. No. So what the MAGA cope is on this point is you can't contest the facts, you can't contest the logic, and you can't contest the argumentation. So then you just simply say that it's true of the other side, but she has an echo. So we're gonna move on to Troy. Troy, I just muted you on accident. I was trying to unmute you, but you unmuted yourself first. Are you voting for Trump?
Yes, I am. I am voting for Trump. Now I'll be the first one out here to tell you, man, I ain't quite the smartest motherfucker out there, all right? But the only reason that I'm voting for Trump and not Kamala Harris is because of the fact of her trying whatever. Like I said, not the smartest.
You're good. Just call her Harris.
Well, I don't agree on her trying to change the Second Amendment.
Okay, well, she's not trying to change the Second Amendment, so don't
trying to rewrite it.
No, she's not.
That's not true. It's all over the news. I see it on my TV every day.
Well, Troy. She is not trying to rewrite the Second Amendment, I promise.
Well, I just feel like in that state of manner of her trying to, like, what I'm hearing of the whole gun act being taken or whatever being...
She owns a Glock, bro. She owns a Glock. She knows how to use it, too.
Yeah? Well, I just feel like that's going to start a civil war.
Okay.
I feel like if Harris becomes president, there's going to be a civil war. And if Trump becomes president, we're going to be going to war with Russia. So either way, I don't see it ending well.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and clarify. So no, she doesn't want to take guns away. She clarified on the debate stage when she was talking to Donald Trump that she would not be taking your guns away. All right, she also has never advocated for changing the U.S. Constitution. That is misinformation. You will find this from no credible source online apart from like partisan hacked or like Republican alternative media sources. And then third of all, when we retrospectively reflect upon her presidency and Trump's presidency, the only presidency that passed gun control was Trump's. He passed a bump stock ban. Her and Biden passed nothing. And let's also talk about the fact that Donald Trump said in an interview with Mike Pence in 2019 that we should take the guns first, then give due process second. And Donald Trump called for the termination of the U.S. Constitution in some articles found within it. And Donald Trump wants to imprison people for burning the American flag when the Supreme Court ruled in the 70s that was constitutionally protected under the First Amendment right to freedom of expression. The only genuine threat to our Constitution and the amendments found within it would be Donald J. Trump, right? And there's no comparative occurrences given Kamala Harris or anything in her past that would like insurmount to Trump wanting to not give people due process, take their guns away, or like just destroying and getting rid of the whole thing.
You talk fast, my guy.
I'm sorry, Troy. The moral of the story is that she's not a threat to your 2A, but Trump might be. And on top of him might being a threat to your 2A, he's definitely a threat.
Now, you're saying about Trump being a threat. You're saying about Trump being a threat. If he was a threat towards any of our amendments, don't you think he would have taken them his first term around?
I mean, can we just say the same thing about Kamala Harris?
Well, I mean, Kamala Harris wasn't.
Katie, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love. Katie says even my 7-year-old knows what 4-2 is. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Katie. W's for Katie in the chat. He called for the termination of the Constitution after Biden was inaugurated because he was mad that he lost. And he he campaigned on fucking, what was it? He campaigned on putting people in jail for burning the American flag last time. He couldn't get it passed because it was unconstitutional. He also
I feel like if they burn the American flag, regardless, they should be thrown in jail. That's the American flag. That's what we're here for.
It doesn't matter. It's constitutionally protected.
Wait, what is?
Burning the American flag. That's freedom of expression. I don't care if you think it's bad. It's freedom of expression.
I mean, yeah, I understand it's freedom of expression, but freedom of expression not in another motherfucking country. You burn it in our country, and I feel like therefore you're trampling on our country. Like, why are you here?
Okay, it's just wrong to burn your country's flag, and you think that should be illegal. So should it be illegal? Should it have been? So do you think that it should be illegal to burn like Germany's flag in Germany?
If you're in Germany, by all means, yes, that should be illegal.
Okay, should it have been illegal to burn the Confederate flag in the Confederacy?
I mean,
Tammy,
I guess
thank you for the $5 on PayPal. I appreciate you.
Depending on who you're talking to, I mean, I support the Confederate flag.
Brother, why?
Why not?
Because the Confederate flag that we all know today was actually called the rebel flag, and it was created as a tool to fly during the Civil War. And the rebel flag stood as a rebellion against the Union. And why did they rebel against the Union? Because the Union wanted to take their state rights away to legalize slavery. So in other words, it's a rebellion away from federal protections for minorities. And it's.
I mean, I got one hanging up in my room.
So that flag stands for slavery and racism.
Well,
Amara, thank you so much for the flying jets. I appreciate you for the love. Massive W's for Amara in the chat with the flying jets. Thank you so much. Massive W Amara is down below for the flying jets. It is literally so kind of you. Massive W's down below. And of course, he took that opportunity when I was thanking the donor to leave. Massive L's. We're going to move on to our next guest, but I do really appreciate you, Amara. Massive W Amara is down below. That is literally so kind of you. Thank you so much. We're going to get our next guest up in here right now. And Emma, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, Emma. And Vivian, thank you for the $1. I'm going to bring 2 people up at a time. Let's see who we got. Moving on to our next guest. All right. Welcome in, Mighty. Hi, are you voting for Trump?
I was always wondering about all these policies of the.
I do appreciate you for coming up, man. However, we are just looking to talk to people that are voting for Trump. For everyone hanging out with us in here and hop in the queue, keep in mind, guys, only do hop in the queue if you are voting for Trump. Well, I do appreciate you. Once again, we are just looking for people that are voting for Trump. Let's go and get our next guest up in here right now, guys. Right now, we only have about 10 people in the queue. So, I mean, if you do want to come up and you are voting for Trump, make sure to hop in there. Moving on to our next guest, Mr. Mike. Everyone, just do give us a minute. What's up, Mike? Are you voting for Trump?
What's going on, Dean? I will be casting a vote for Trump.
God, now why in the hell would you ever do that?
So, Dean, I wanted to get more of an insight, because you're an intelligent guy, right? I wanted to get more of an insight into what you see character-wise with Kamala.
So, sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like her character, is white on display for us all. I feel like she cares about America. I feel like she cares about the people in it. She wants America to genuinely progress in a good direction. And this isn't only prevalent, just through her speeches, through her rallies, but also.
But those are words. I need you to quantify it more.
I mean, sure. We could quantify her care for America and the people within it from her policy. For instance, her economic policy intends to reduce income inequities and make the average American better off. I mean, obviously, I feel as if that's going to be indicative of some virtues. But seemingly, if you care about character, I'm just confused why you'd be voting for the 34-count felon rapist.
Well, that's the thing. I know Trump has bad character. I just think Kamala has worse.
Okay, truly. So Trump has raped a woman and tried to coup the country with and overturn the results of the 2020 election. Name one thing that Kamala Harris has done that is sufficiently worse than either of those two things.
Trump didn't rape that woman.
Oh wait, 1 second. We actually have a little bit of a guess. I see Brian Cranston up in here. We're gonna go to get him up. So Trump was held civilly liable for raping a woman. Do you know what her name was?
Yeah, it was Jean Carroll.
E. Jean Carroll. Good job. And do you know one piece of evidence that she had submitted to the court to find Trump guilty?
What was the piece of evidence?
Do you know any?
No, I'm asking you. What was the piece
Sure.
that found
We'll
Trump
go.
guilty?
Sure, we'll go over the evidence in 1 second, but I just want to clarify. So you're telling me you reject the findings of the court, you say the jury's wrong, you call her a liar, and you say Trump's not a rapist, all while not
Oh
knowing
yeah,
one
no,
piece
that
of
was
evidence she
lawfare.
submitted. One moment. All
Yeah,
while
that
not
was
knowing
absolutely lawfare.
one moment, all while not knowing one piece of evidence she submitted to the court to find him guilty. I have a question. Would it be fair for
Absolutely
me to say,
lawfare.
would it be fair for me to say that all the food in your fridge is spoiled?
See, bad faith, bro. You can't do it without the allegories. Like, enough
No,
with
it's
the
called
allegories.
hypothetical. It's
Let's
conceptually
talk
irrelevant.
turkey, Dean. Let's talk turkey.
With all due respect, I'd appreciate if you'd answer my question. It is conceptually relevant. Would it be fair for me to say that all the food in your fridge is spoiled?
Just painfully pragmatic. Painfully, Dean.
Okay,
We're
are
talking
you just going to keep
apples
on
to
demonstrating?
oranges.
Are you
That
going
is
to
a
continue to
bad
demonstrate?
faith comparison.
With all due
It's
respect, right? This is conceptually relevant. Please stop demonstrating your apricot IQ. Answer the question, or I'll answer it for
bad
you.
faith question.
Okay, so it's not a bad faith question. I guess I'll explain it because you are unwilling to engage. It would
No,
not be fair for me to.
Dean, and
Okay.
you can hear my reasoning on why I believe that's lawfare.
Oh my God. 1 second. I would like to explain this point, and I will let you talk after. So, no, it would not be fair for me to say that all the food in your fridge is spoiled. And the reason it would not be fair for me to say that all the food in your fridge is spoiled is because I don't know you. I don't know where you live. I've never been inside your house, and I've certainly never opened your fridge. Right? And the
Dean,
conceptual
you act like that's some revelation of.
And the conceptual analogy here would be nothing more than the fact that you don't know E. Jean Carroll, you don't know one piece of evidence she submitted to the court, you haven't read the court documents, you don't know what the preponderance of evidence was that the jury used to convict to hold him liable for rape, but yet you come up here and you say that it's lawfare, you say that she's a liar, and you say that he's guilty. All right, you're just further perpetuating rape culture and you're victim blaming E. Jean Carroll, all while not having a single conscious thought in your head. But feel free to unmute that mic, feel free to speak, and then also Brian, what's going on, man?
Yeah, hey, how's it going? I'll let Mike speak and then I can chime in.
Sure.
Oh, I'm in here with Krasenstein.
What's up? How's it going?
What's going on, my man? So do you think the United States is above engaging in lawfare against private citizens?
Yeah, I'd say that lawfare can happen. However, like this obviously isn't lawfare.
Yeah,
I think it obviously was, though. The nature.
Okay. So Mike, if this was a one-off thing and you were saying, oh yeah, this one case against Trump is lawfare, at least
Yeah.
I'd like maybe listen, right? But he has been indicted 4 times. I mean, how many counts has it been? It's been over 90 counts. His business was actually criminally indicted for fraud, and he was convicted.
Absolutely.
That business was convicted of fraud.
Absolutely.
He was found liable of fraud. He was found liable of sexual assault, and he has 3 open cases that he wasn't yet convicted of. But there is one case that he is convicted on 34 felony counts. So yeah, I mean, is it possible that the legal system can get things wrong and prosecutors could go after people that shouldn't be targeted? Yes. Is it possible that a jury could get something wrong? Yes. Is it likely, even remotely close to likely, that 4 indictments across 4 different jurisdictions and 2 civil cases and then another criminal case against a business were all lawfare? Absolutely not. I'd say that's a 1 in 10 million chance.
I would say that the attacks on him personally, in that anything about him beyond the business or political sector, I think have all been lawfare, and I think they're ridiculous cases.
Okay,
I
listen.
mean, you tell
listen,
me.
so,
You want me to
Mike.
describe the court docs to you?
Mike, all
You
I'm
tell
doing is I'm
me
asking for
what.
one piece
So
of
you
evidence she
tell
submitted to the
me
jury to prove
what
that
did
Donald Trump had
Jean
raped her.
Carroll say happened to her in that elevator?
Sure. First of all, it wasn't an elevator. You obviously haven't read the court documents, nor are you familiar with the case. And second of all, right, my main point here is, and seemingly Brian kind of, is making the same point, is not only, right, do you not have any evidence to suggest that this was lawfare, not only is it atypical for lawfare or false convictions to occur, but you also don't know any of the evidence she used to find him guilty. I find no distinction between you arguing that she's a liar and he's a victim of lawfare and people arguing that 9/11 was an inside job, the earth is flat, or that Russia had a right to invade
See, but
Ukraine.
9/11
Like, it's just
absolutely
conspiracy
was an
theory.
inside job. 9/11 was absolutely an inside job.
Okay, and see, there's the issue. There's the issue. Your mind has decayed. You're a victim of a mind virus. You haven't had a
Yeah,
conscious
so
thought since third
the
grade, if
thing
even
about
there.
you, Dean,
It's
is you're
stress.
armed with propaganda. And if you were in any civilization that has had an oppressive regime, you would be a good debater in said civilizations because you don't recognize patterns. You go off government provided statistics. I argue that we live under an oppressive one.
Oh my God! Wait, so you're arguing that that fact statistics is all wrong? You got to throw it out the
No,
window.
not
Now,
all
what
wrong. Not
standard?
all wrong. I think
I have a
our
question.
state persecutes in bad faith.
So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you
I
something
think a
very clearly.
country
Mike, are you
that's
ready?
controlled by its intelligence agency,
Mike, are
I
you
think
ready?
is absolutely not above any agenda like I've stated.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to prove me wrong, prove Brian wrong, prove us all wrong in front of over 1,000 people here. My claim is that the idea that Donald Trump is a victim of lawfare and E. Jean Carroll is a liar is complete and total bullshit. It's conspiratorial nonsense that is essentially predicated on you putting your little emotions
So
over fact.
do
One
you know
moment, I'm
how
still
many
talking.
people have accused?
God damn it, I have to mute you. Right. So what I would like you to do is just simply convince me, convince Brian, convince, the over 1,000 people in here that that in fact is not a conspiracy theory by giving us good reason to believe it. I'm gonna go to unmute your mic. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna shut up. Give us real good reason to believe that the civil court that held Trump unanimously liable for sexual abuse was nothing more than lawfare. Feel free to unmute your mic.
Cool. I'm going to paint a picture of a system that could implicate Trump with lawfare. I think Trump is a businessman narcissist. I think he grew up outside of the political sector. So I think he wasn't subjugated to the same APAC control as other candidates. Do you know who chose Obama's cabinet? BlackRock. So this is the kind of, we're dealing with corporate entities. We're dealing with something, much more ominous than just, oh, this is fair and just, and they're upholding the Constitution. I'm trying to paint a picture of an environment which would allow them to engage in such lawfare. I
Okay,
think
so
it's
basically you
absolutely
have no
not out
reason
of
then.
the question. I think the media.
So seemingly you don't have any reason. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with one last point here. I mean, it's evidently clear that you're just a conspiracy theorist. How do you know that Donald Trump isn't a rapist and that she's a liar, all while not knowing one piece of evidence she submitted to the courtroom to prove him guilty? Because quite frankly, Mike, I'm under the impression that at the very bare minimum, you're gonna at least have to tell me which piece of evidence she submitted to the court to prove him
The
guilty that you
case is
reject.
spotty, Dean. The case is spotty, and you've
How
made this
can you
whole
know
thing.
that E.
I
Jean Carroll's
mentioned
claims are
Kamala's
false?
character. You've made this whole.
You're still talking over me. I'm necessarily like cutting your mic off because you can't wait until I'm done. Okay? So I'm gonna go back to what I was saying now. How can you know that E. Jean Carroll was a liar and he is innocent while not knowing the evidence used to prove him guilty?
Share with me the evidence, Dean.
After
Share it
you
with me.
answer my question. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it right now.
Share
Yeah,
with
sure.
me. I want to believe her. I want to believe her. Share with
Sure.
me.
Sure, yeah. Medical records from 1990s indicating that she was raped by Donald Trump. The consistency between the medical records in the 90s and her own testimony, the testimony of 7 others. Then, of course, the dress that she claimed she wore when she was raped with male DNA on it, in which she claimed to be Trump's, with then Trump then refusing to provide his DNA to that same court, right? Only further giving us reason to believe he's guilty. We'd also have inconsistencies with it in his own story. Donald Trump claimed that he had never met E. Jean Carroll, which E. Jean Carroll then presented a picture of the two together to the court. And Donald Trump said that E. Jean Carroll wasn't his type, then under deposition confused a picture of E. Jean Carroll for a picture of his ex-wife that was his type. right? So we could use the preponderance of evidence actually submitted to the court that I did go over, right, in lieu of like
Yeah.
the circumstantial facts that he had two inconsistencies in his story, and he failed to provide his DNA to the court when asked to prove his innocence. Yeah, and seemingly you didn't know any of this because you don't actually do the research. You don't care
So
about
what
putting the time into
about
these things. You just repeat what you see on Facebook. You repeat what Tucker Carlson tells you.
okay.
You repeat what Charlie
Okay.
Kirk tells you, and you repeat what
Okay.
Elon Musk tells you. If it
Okay.
falls outside of that narrative, and
Okay.
these alternative media black sheep sources are shoving down your throat all
Dean,
day long, you don't care
you're
about it.
above being a DNC mouthpiece, bro. You're above that.
Okay, so like being rational, having an IQ over 85 is being a DNC mouthpiece. Got it.
No, absolutely not. I think anyone with a high IQ doesn't support anything about our government. I don't know why you do. The DNC, this is why it's just so bad faith, it's the implication that Trump's this evil guy, but the people that we only get glimpses of who they are, right, through leaks and such that people get persecuted for, right? Assange and Snowden. It's this implication that when you do it in the shadows, it's okay. Like, how many allegations does Biden, Hillary, and Bill have of that same thing?
There was
I mean,
one
Hillary
allegation.
has them tracing back to the fucking 80s.
Mike, there's one allegation against Biden, and that woman fled off to Moscow because the government was investigating her for what she said was being an unregistered foreign agent.
And then when she was in Moscow, she joined a misinformation campaign. And the reason she fled to Moscow to begin with wasn't only what Brian went over, but her lawyer dropped her due to
Misinformation from
inconsistencies in her
Moscow.
case.
Yeah. You remember what else used to be misinformation from Moscow? The Nordic pipeline conspiracy.
Okay, so do you want to completely change and shift the topic of discussion, or do you want to engage
Well,
with the fact
that's
that no, that's
always
another
been the
civil.
topic, Dean, is you're representing a bad faith enterprise.
Oh, okay, so you actually don't want to stay on topic, got it.
I think as an American citizen, they've shown
Hey, Mike.
that they're above being trusted by us.
Mike,
I get it,
Mike.
Dean. I know.
Hey, Mike.
I know Reagan. I know the CIA
I have a
pumped
question.
the black
I have a
community
question.
with
I want
crack.
to paint a picture here. So, do you trust our Congress? Say, like, if like Trump.
Absolutely not.
Do you trust our courts?
Absolutely not.
Do you trust Trump?
Absolutely not.
You don't trust Trump.
I'm voting for Trump because of, I would say, I might not even cast for him. It's that close.
Okay, I just have one
Dean,
last question.
I don't trust. You seem to have the idea
Mike.
that I'm like just this shill that's repeating, whatever Tucker or fucking.
Because you are.
Tucker or Ben or whatever. That's not the case whatsoever.
Cool. I have one
think
last.
Nobody should be advocating for either side right now.
Mike. I have just one last question. How many continents are there?
Continents?
Yes.
7.
Name them.
Why do you want me to name them?
Because I don't think you can.
Dean, that's ridiculous.
You have the mic. Name them.
Everyone can see what you just did.
Name the continents.
Everyone can see what you just did.
Can you name the continents?
Seriously, Dean?
Yes.
You're gonna go this route. I can name the fucking continents. You're gonna go this route.
Then do it.
You're gonna go this route when I'm trying to paint a picture of unity, and that neither the DNC or the RNC are the answer, and both are corrupt. And you want to talk about some fucking continents.
Buddy, why can't you name the continents?
North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Oceania. I think I just fucking named 7.
That was 6. I appreciate you for coming up. You were phenomenal. Anyways, Brian, what's going on, man? I haven't spoken to you before. I've seen you on Twitter a whole lot. Hope you're doing well, man. Advocating for what's good.
Yeah, not much. It's nice seeing you doing some of these spaces. I know there's a lot of like right-wing echo chambers on this platform, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens in this election. It's going to be close. I do think Harris is going to win, though.
Yeah, what's going on in here, you fucking gay faggots? What's up, little bro?
All right. Anyways, sorry about that. Feel free to come up if like you're one of the America First Groypers, but like have some self control, be more mature than my 6-year-old nephew, and I'll allow you to speak. But yeah, Brian. I mean, I'm trying to stay optimistic. Feel free to hang out in here for as long as you want. If you want to join in on these debates, we always have some fun. We're gonna go to get our next guest up in here, guys. If you are in the queue, make sure that you're voting for Trump. And like once again, yeah, feel free to request if you're one of the America First Groypers, but just don't act like that guy. We can engage in somewhat rational discourse, huh? We're gonna go to get our next guest up in here, so everyone just do give us a minute, guys. Let's get into what our next guest has to say. Let's go ahead and get Ellie up as our next guest. Hello, Ellie. Are you voting for Trump?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Jesus isn't running, so I have to vote based on priorities, not my emotion towards the personal flaws of the representative.
Jesus isn't running. I feel like if Jesus was alive today, he'd be voting for Harris.
I didn't hear that. He'd be voting for Harris? I don't
Yeah.
think he wants to trans kids, so he wouldn't be.
Oh, wait, what verse in the Bible tells us that being trans is wrong?
There doesn't have to be a verse. It's not right to mutilate kids. I mean, you're supposed to be able to have kids.
Mutilating kids is wrong. So do you think that circumcision is bad?
I think that's in the Bible, but it's different.
Wait. Okay, sorry. Anyways, tell us why you voted for Trump.
Why am I just told you because I vote based on priorities, not my emotions towards their personal flaws.
Yeah, so what are your priorities and how will Trump better achieve them?
Well, my priorities are protect kids from trans ideology, so meaning not turning them trans. And my other priorities are going against a lot of unethical technologies and a lot of globalism agendas that the Biden-Harris admin kind of moves in lockstep with.
Okay, I have a question. How does the kid turn
Prosperity.
trans?
Say it again.
How does the kid turn trans?
When they're influenced to think that it's an option.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd actually disagree. So we'd have studies from the Netherlands Institute of Brain Research in conjunct with a few others. I think it was also the Center for Neurology at UCLA as well as the University of Columbia, where we actually see neurobiological indiscrepancies between the neuroanatomy of someone that is cis and someone that is trans. For instance, males have more gray putamen in their more gray mass in their left putamen compared to females, and what we'd see in a trans man, right, would be a synonymous amount of gray mass in the left putamen. We could also go down to the AI NEH3 subsection of the hypothalamus. We'd see some discrepancies on the basis of sex. Sexual dimorphism does exist in our neurobiology, and what we typically see within trans individuals is the sexual dimorphic parts of your brain are that of the opposing sex. So when you say that this is going to be culturally influenced, that just wouldn't align with our understanding of neurobiology.
So I didn't say it's 100% cultural. It's also partly biological, and those mutations you named are due to the fact that we're exposed to a lot of microplastics and man-made chemicals that are altering men in vitro, is feminizing them, is lowering testosterone, lowering sperm count, and is causing them to be more likely to be gay or trans.
Really? So now let's ask a very simple question here. Can you give me one institution of science, one institution of medicine that would reliably report that your conclusion is true?
So the entire field of child psychology and nature versus nurture. Let me ask you a quick question. What percent
That's
of
not
all
a study.
humans?
I asked
Here,
you for an institution of medicine
I'm
or
getting to
science
it.
that would report a
I'm
study.
about to get to it. I'm about to tell you the CDC study. First, I have to ask you, what percent of all humans do you think are LGBTQ plus, both openly and repressed? Say a number.
If I had to take a guess, I'd say around 30 to 35%.
You think 30% of all humans are LGBTQ plus?
If I had to take a guess based upon what I've seen, but I'm still waiting on for you to provide a study.
What have you
Because we're
seen
already,
that? Wait. What have you seen to make you lead to that conclusion?
yeah, there was a study done on like high schoolers like 2 years ago, and
That's
35%
recent.
of respondents reported that they were they weren't heterosexual.
Right, that's recent though. So that's at a time when it's fully in the culture and all of their information streams. So they're the most influenced at this time. But when you look at recent similar studies in the past, there was always less and less back when there was less media about it and stuff like that. But yeah, the
Yeah,
study I
and
was about to
I
say.
say that we should expect that. And the reason I say that we should expect that, I mean, as it becomes more prevalent to be accepting of members of the LGBTQ plus community, we're going to see more individuals self-reporting on this fact. But when it's something that is not accepted, societally speaking, well, they're just simply not going to self-report on this fact, but rather hide it. I mean, we see the same thing with left-handed people. For instance, for whatever reason, we had these societal norms in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that told us that being left-handed was wrong. And if we were to look at studies of people that would self-report as left-handed, there were significantly less people that would do so in the 60s, 70s, or 80s compared to today, where it's societally accepted. Same thing happened with Jewish people in Germany in World War II. Prior to Jewish people fleeing from Germany,
or being executed in the Holocaust, we see like a significant decline of the amount of self-reported Jewish people in Germany. All right, and that wasn't because they were leaving or dying. That's because they just simply didn't report that fact.
But when you look at the left hand in his chart, as you were just explaining, it leveled out. It's not. But right now, if you look at the chart of young people identifying as LGBTQ+, it's going straight up. So it's not leveled out. And if we were to wait for it to level out, that wouldn't be until over 50% of all youth are identifying as LGBTQ+. So it is different. Left-handedness is more biological. It's not as environmental. So it is.
Yeah,
different.
I don't think that being gay is environmental at all. And actually, we have really good
Okay.
reason to believe that. So like once again, the same institutions, like we see like in the context, let's just compare like a gay man to a straight man. So I forget what it's called because it's been a while since I had this discussion. You have a nerve lining between the hemispheres of your brain. I forget exactly what it's called. Maybe someone could fill me in the comment section. But anyways, so it's typically like bigger and more largely expressed in like the brain of a gay man compared to that of a straight man. We'd have those same discrepancies in the AINH3 subsection of the hypothalamus. We'd also have thicker dendrites and different levels of neurohormones such as FSH, right? And these are all going to be biologically onset, like given like it's either the activation or inactivation of the SRY gene at about 8 weeks, right? And like just given the derivative of like neurobiology and the fact that these things can't be changed or predicated on like cultural influence.
Well, they can be changed because the brain has a very high neuroplasticity. So if you're acting like a dog, for instance, then your brain will look like more like a dog in some ways. So the way we act, the way like our daily behaviors, it affects the chemical, the chemistry of our brain and the structure of it.
It can affect the structure insofar as like dendrites, but it can affect the structure insofar as like some neurons and like the nerve lining between the hemispheres. And then we'd also see in twin studies, like say like the XQ23 chromosome, we'd see an association around the XQ23 chromosome for gay men. And neuroplasticity cannot impede or impact upon like your chromosomal functions. So we'd have like more than sufficient reason to believe that no, this isn't something that is environmentally onset.
So you're straight or are you gay?
I'm straight.
Okay, so if you were born on an island of only males, how would you be straight? Because all you see is males sexualized to you, so you'd be gay. If you and I were born on an island of only males, we'd both be gay.
Yeah, and I reject that. Like we just don't have reason to believe that.
Well, we kind of do because you're trying to say that sexuality isn't at all environmentally determined. I just gave you an example where we would be gay. You're saying no, but you never saw a female, so how would you be straight, right?
Okay.
And actually, I could tell you a real life example of this. Wait, let me tell you real quick.
The reason I reject this is because you're just saying you've never seen a female, so how would you be straight? Well, you just want to actualize the fact that you're straight, but you wouldn't be attracted to the men around you.
I mean, you're saying that, but if they're sexualized to you, you're going to be attracted to it. So, for instance, there's a study about how when children, let me tell you, when children are raised in the wild and then we find them, for instance, we found this girl who was raised by dogs, and she's not straight or gay. She's into dogs. So she wasn't born that way, obviously.
Yeah, would you be able
the
to give me
environment impacted her, right?
Would you be able to give me this study?
Yeah, I can.
I'd love to see this. I'd absolutely love to. What's her name? Where can I find out more about her?
Yeah, so I made videos on it. I'll definitely link you to it. It's 100%. You can look it up very easily.
Can you link it to me right now?
Yeah, could we wait until we say a couple more points? I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Or do you want me to stop right now and send it to you?
I kind of like the idea of seeing it right now.
All right, I'll send it. And so if you acknowledge that, you could see how sexuality is in part also environmentally determined.
No, I don't even think that conclusion would be necessarily yielded, but I want to see the study first. Let's see it, man. What do I type into Google?
Okay, let me type it first and I'll tell you where it comes up. So girl raised by dogs. Let's pull it up quick. Oh yeah, there it is. So by 60 Minutes, she's from Australia. So abandoned toddler rescued, raised by feral dogs. And so, one sec.
While he's looking for that. Oh.
Wait, while you're looking for that, let me say another example. If we were born on an island of trans species people, we'd be in the trans species because that's what's sexualized.
Yeah, you're just like repeating your same hypothesis with no reason. So I actually looked what you found up. I typed in girl raised by dogs attracted to dogs. So I'm able to find this girl raised by dogs. Her name was Oksana. Maybe I'm mispronouncing that. I'm not able to find anything about how she was attracted to dogs.
Yeah, I searched ChatGPT too. I asked it, is there history of a girl being raised by dogs who ended up being attracted or sexualizing dogs? And there's nothing. It talked about feral.
Oh, Brian, ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Is sexuality also a social construct? It'll tell you it is.
I mean, I'm just
So wait, so
going
your
back.
source is lies in ChatGPT, Ellie?
No, well, I didn't lie. It's the fact that this girl isn't a normal human. She's not into guys with.
Where's the source?
I showed you the. You could look into her more. Like,
No, I am. I'm looking at it right now. She was raised by dogs. She was a feral child. Nowhere on here do I find any indication that she is sexually and romantically attracted to dogs.
what is she sexually and romantically attracted to then?
It doesn't report anything about her sexual attractions. The reason that she's popular and in the media is because she was raised by dogs.
Right. Well, if you look into her, that's what the case is.
Okay, give me a source.
I guess we have to look more into her and assess that. But if you want to ask ChatGPT about sexuality being a social construct,
No, don't pivot.
I'll tell you that.
Don't pivot. Give me a source.
Well, I mean, I can link you to the story, but you're trying to determine her exact sexuality. That's a little harder. We could use common sense based on the fact that she wasn't exposed.
Wait. So there's actually there's no statement from her saying that she's attracted to dogs. There's no recorded behaviors of her being attracted to dogs. You're just positing that she must be attracted to dogs, right?
Yeah, because what else is she attracted to?
Oh my god.
Are you attracted to dogs? Because I mean, what are you using? Just based on your own feelings?
If I was born on an island of only dogs and I was seeing dogs have sex and
I
stuff
wouldn't
like
be
that,
attracted to dogs.
yeah, we all would be if that's all you knew.
No, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
Oh my god.
Like if you were born on an alien planet, you'd be attracted to those things sexualized to you.
No way. Is this real? Is it
No,
so?
I mean, do they look like Avatar? Because they were kind of hot.
Is this real?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Are you joking? Are you trolling, Ellie?
No, you don't think I am either. You're just saying that for like dramatic effect.
No. The reason I think that you're trolling is because you made this very firm, strict, and hard claim that there is a girl that had been raised by dogs and then it was reported that she was attracted to dogs. Turns out there's nothing anywhere on the internet about this girl being attracted by dogs. That's just your silly hypothesis. So I'm going to go ahead and fill you in on something that I think is true. So when I hear like the argument being made that being gay is a choice or it's like environmentally controlled or developed, I just think this is the ultimate cope from like homophobic closeted gay men. And the reason why I say this is because I know that I can't choose my attractions. There's nothing I'll ever be able to do to choose my attractions. And I feel like this is just your way of trying to remedy the fact that you may have them yourself.
Well, I don't, but you're right. Once you're older, you already have your sexual attractions. But when you're younger, you're still malleable.
Yeah, and once again, you have not been able to indicate to me any study from an institution of medicine or science to justify your claim. I was able to indicate to you three. I was even able to explain to you the specific biological predispositions for same-gendered attractions and explain to you associations along your genetic code. And you were able to say, well, there's this girl that was raised by dogs that is attracted to dogs, and then with 30 seconds of Googling, turns out you lied, and you're just assuming that to be the case. So do we see how this is a very unfair argument in the sense that I'm operating on the basis of reliable facts, objective observation, experimentation, and reputation and reports. Meanwhile, you're just kind of operating on what you think and feel.
No,
What happened to
you
facts
can't.
over feeling?
Hey, you haven't shown me anything that shows sexuality is 100% not environmental at all, and it's 100% biological. You haven't been able to show that.
Yes. So I was able to demonstrate to you biological predispositions for being gay, biological predispositions for not being heterosexual.
Those are
and
probabilistic.
in this sense that these biological predispositions would be necessary for the attractions. We wouldn't be able to say that they cause them, but they'd be necessary in order
Right,
to
because they're
develop them.
probabilistic, so it's not 100%.
So now your new argument is that it cannot be certainly proved that it is the case that like attractions are going to be rooted within our neurobiology. It's only most likely to be the case. Thereby, we should assume that the possibility is true. Thereby, being gay is onset by like things in our environment.
It's what I said the first time, which is that we're a product of biology and environment. So
Wait, I have a question. Is it a possibility that 9/11 was an inside job?
yeah, you don't think so?
Does that mean that 9/11 is an inside job?
It doesn't mean you can 100% deny it because some papers are telling you it's not.
Is it a possibility that the Earth is flat?
No, because we have plenty of data showing that to the contrary.
It's a possibility that the data is wrong, right?
I guess that's always a possibility, so we can't really believe anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so in accordance with the worldview in which you've constructed on this space, are you justified or not justified in believing that the Earth is round?
Well, I mean, we like objective reality. I mean, we're not trying to reject all data, so I don't know what you're trying to say here. Sounds like a
Well,
setup,
I
doesn't it?
mean, well, seemingly this is what I'm doing. All right, I'm saying that we have a congruence. We have a large set of data in which would point us in the direction that being gay is prevalent given biological predispositions. We have no data to suggest that the opposite is true, and although it is a possibility that the opposite is true, it's more likely than not the case that it is not true. All right, the same argument that you've just constructed to me insofar as how you know that the Earth is round.
Oh, well, now 1 in 4 of youth identify as LGBTQ plus. So unless you want to say 1/4 of all humans are that, then that would lead us to believe that yes, it's also environmental, not 100% biological.
Yeah, I think it's either 1/4 or more of humans that are not heterosexual.
So there's no evidence that shows you prior to recently that that's the case. You're saying that based on the recent evidence, which you can't make that full conclusion about.
So we've already went over this point. You're saying that the amount of people that self-report as being gay has exponentially grown. I'd say that it's exponentially grown given societal acceptance, and this would be tangent to the hypothesis that it would be grounded on our biology, right, rather than some environmental factors. You've still yet to give us any reason that it's driven by the environmental factors, and you've still yet to give any dispute to the fact that this is just simply a prevalent of more people self-reporting their sexual orientation. I mean, we live in like a heteronormative society where like there's this arbitrary standard set that you're supposed to be straight. If you're not straight, there's something flawed with you. And over the last handful of thousand years, I mean, gay people have been the target of persecution and oppression. I mean, the Bible tells you to stone them to death. I'm sure that the Quran says something similar, and that has created societal norms in which it's incredibly heavily stigmatized. This is why we see gay men trying to marry women, trying to be straight, because they're scared of their same-gendered attractions and how the society around them will have a response. And of course, as more accepting the society becomes, we'll see more people self-reporting this fact, and that's undisputable, man. We saw the same thing with left-handed people until it was the case that being left-handed was totally societally accepted. And I'd say that we'll see an increase in the amount of people self-reporting the fact that they're gay until being gay, in contrast to being straight, is looked at no differently than a different color of the eyes or different color of the hair.
Were we to let that happen, that means we'd all get depopulated because it would lead to 50% of all youth being identifying as not straight. So there's a reason why we have a binary. There's a reason why we have a well, I cannot say this word, heteronormative culture. Can you name any reasons why we have heteronormativity? Because when you look at the 150 schools of the CDC study, they happen to be the most anti-heteronormative schools that are pushing the most LGBTQ plus ideology onto those youth.
So first of all, I think it's good to be anti-heteronormative. Second of all, the figure of you saying, well, when it eventually levels out, 50% of the population will not be straight. I don't see any reason to believe that. But even if it was true, I wouldn't care. Then third of all, the argument that it's
So you're
wrong to
pro
be
depopulation, is what you're saying.
no, I'm saying that the argument that it's wrong to be gay because gay people cannot reproduce through intercourse is weak, contradictory, and bad. Do you think it's wrong for me to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman?
Well, it's not a choice to be infertile, so that's not the same. It's a choice to pursue a homosexual relationship because love is love, right? So you could choose to pursue a straight relationship with someone of the opposite sex to reproduce with.
I asked you
Productive.
if it's wrong for me to choose to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman.
The answer is no, because she wasn't infertile by choice.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not wrong for me to it's not wrong for me to choose to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman, just like it wouldn't be wrong for me to choose to engage in intercourse with a man, predicated on the position that the only reason you find it to be wrong is because it's not conducive towards reproduction. We've already went over the basis on how being gay is not a choice, but even if it was a choice, this would still be contradictory with the precedent that you just set, because I'm choosing to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman compared to choosing to engage in intercourse with a fertile woman, yet you don't think it's wrong.
Well, if we were all doing that, we'd go extinct, so it's pretty wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. If every man alive chose to only engage in intercourse with infertile women, we would all be extinct in 100 years, yet you don't think it's wrong. Replace infertile woman and a man with gay intercourse.
Right, except there's a certain percentage of the population that's actually infertile, so it's unavoidable. But you're talking about a choice to pursue a homosexual relationship, which is knowingly leading
No,
to
I am a
depopulation.
fertile man choosing to pursue a relationship with an infertile woman, and you don't think that's wrong.
Yeah, because it can't be everyone, because there's only a certain amount of infertile women.
Okay, so you're saying it's not wrong to engage in gay sex unless everyone's gay?
Well, if we were all gay and we had gay sex, we'd go extinct, so that's not
Just
wrong.
like if we were all infertile and we all had sex with each other, we'd go extinct. So once again, the point stands: as long as not everyone is gay, is it wrong to engage in gay sex?
As long as you're keeping it private and it's a small percent of the population and we're not exposing it to kids and influencing them to be gay too, then yeah, you can do whatever you want in your sexual life as long as you keep it
So now
private.
all of a sudden in a vacuum, gay sex isn't wrong. So now you're going to hold to the position that it's rather wrong because we're going to be exposing these things to the youth. I think it is a good thing to educate the youth on the acceptance of members of the LGBTQ plus community. With education becomes a reduction in prejudice. With education comes better understandings of oneself and those around them. And we know that this education can influence more people to be gay, contrary to the hypothesis that you posited the entire time, due to the lack of evidence to justify such hypothesis and due to the insurmountable of evidence to justify the contrary.
No. Maybe if you want to abandon the binary of man and women, male and female, heterosexuality, which leads to the most procreation, the long-term sustainability, if you want to abandon that and be pro-depopulation, you could do that. But you're going to be waking up in hell pretty soon if that's the case.
Oh, wait, man. Why aren't you making the same argument when it comes to me engaging in intercourse with an infertile woman? You sick fuck. You wanna abandon the binary of a fertile man engaging in intercourse with a fertile woman? Are you pro depopulation, you sick twisted fuck? Do you want to be
Being a
pushing this shit on our kids? How could you sit here and tell me that it's okay for a fertile fucking man to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman? You want to destroy humanity, you want to depopulate the earth. You are the problem. The progressivism, it sucks. Get the fuck out of this space. I cannot believe
Oh,
that you're pro depopulation because you don't think it's wrong for a fertile man to engage in intercourse with an infertile woman.
checkmate. Oh, you didn't kick me. What a surprise. But yeah, so that's the reason why being gay is wrong and why we're not supposed to push it on kids. It influences them.
So I think I've already proven that hypothesis false. You got anything else for me, man?
I guess not. I guess we'll wait till next time and we'll say this again. But thanks a lot, man.
Have a good one.
Take care.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next guest here. That was a lot of fun. By the way, Brian, feel free to hop in whenever. Just cut me off. Feel free. I yap a lot. If you want to interject, feel free. We're gonna get our next discussion going here, y'all. Let's see who's next for the 1.4 thousand people hanging out with us in the space here today. Howdy, howdy. Make sure to hit that follow button if you haven't already. We are very close to 200,000 followers. We're gonna get our next guest up in the box as we speak. Hello, Andy. You voting for Trump?
Get a load of this joker.
Get a load of this joker. So are you voting for Trump, Andy?
Nigger.
Okay, so Andy has the IQ of a walnut. Let's go to see what our next guest has to say. I apologize for his use of slurs, as that should be expected. These people are less mature than my 6-year-old nephew, as we've already went over. But of course, we're on Twitter, and they're going to publicly embarrass themselves nonetheless. Let's see who we got up next. Everyone just give us a minute. We're going to get our next guest out of the box as we speak. All right. Boxing is loading up. Hello, Boxing. Are you voting for Trump?
I am voting for Trump. Yes, I am.
Now, why in the hell would you ever do such a thing?
Well, I care about the country called America. I care about our safety. I care about our international standing. I care about our culture. I care about our language. These are things that I do care about, Dean Withers. Very much so.
Okay, well, if you care about our country, why do you want to vote for the guy that called for the termination of articles found in the Constitution and the guy that tried to stage a coup to overthrow the country and overthrow our government in 2020 when he tried to rig the outcome of the election and steal it from Biden?
So, listen, I get it. I get these angles in which Trump tried to essentially go because there was a uneven playing field. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. A lot of the undermining of Trump throughout his presidency, a lot of the individuals who acted mostly stupidly and during J6, I get it. Let's move forward to actually things that matter, which is the economy, culture, immigration. These are things that matter. Make your case for Kamala Harris because she is incapable of having any ideas of herself. And when pressed on issues, she just speaks in platitudes and she, prattle essentially. I mean, Dean, it's true. Also, for the record, I'm pro-choice, so let's not even go there.
Okay, well, I mean, first of all, for you to say that you care about our country, but you don't care about the largest internal attack on our democracy and checks and balances since the Civil War, you are quite the contrarian. Obviously, you don't care about our country. Let's cut to the bullshit. But I don't know. We don't need to talk about that. I'll go ahead and follow your lead here. You said something about the economy. Sure, Kamala Harris's tax policy is exponentially better than Donald Trump's. Not only does it better serve to the average American, but it better serves to the economy as a whole, because when we could reduce those income inequities and better off the low and the middle class, we'll only put more purchasing power in the hands of the Americans that need it the most. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, on the other hand, he just wants to spend near $7 trillion, according to the CBO, on tax cuts that disproportionately benefit rich people, and then he wants to try to pay through them through tariffs that regressively impact members of the low and the middle class the most. And we know that his TCJA doesn't work. Due to a Brookings study done in 2020, we saw no macro level business reinvestment after those tax cuts, meaning that the principle of trickle down economics wasn't even prevalent. Not to mention that we'd have other studies from economists at Harvard, both right and left leaning, so would estimate that it only increased the GDP by 0.02% per year, which is equivalent to about $10 billion. So why would you want to spend trillions of dollars on a bill, right, that is built for trickle down economics, knowing that it will fail and actually make the average American worse through its tariffs?
Well, listen. At the end of the day, Dean, more important than that is unmitigated, unlimited immigration, which undermines wages. Actually, legal immigration is the biggest issue, to be honest, to be fair, right? These are connected to plenty of corporations that undermine medium and high-paying jobs to undermine real wages, right? These are things that exist. A lot of the stats that Democrats use with jobs creation and economic boosts come from an artificial shutdown, which was COVID, right? We all understand this happened, right? So, Dean, I understand the tariffs thing. Listen, controversial. I do believe that certain resources should be made in America, for national security purposes. Certain chemicals for medications, certain microchips. But I don't believe America should be making widgets. I think that we are a more advanced nation, and we should benefit from other nations' cheap labor to, benefit us. Because I'm America first. I do not care about other countries' wages. I care about my country's
Do you mind
people.
if I butt in here?
Go ahead.
So first of all, you said you care about the country. I bring up January 6th. You say let's pivot from that to economics. I bring up economics. You say let's pivot to that to immigration. So fine, I'm good at what I do. At least I like to believe. We could talk about immigration as well. I wish that you'd stop pivoting, but I don't mind. About immigration. Immigration over the next 10 years is projected to add upwards of $2.7 trillion to your GDP per the CBO. Right, it's incredibly economically beneficial, right? And that's a given fact. We'd see study after study report the same thing. Right, we need to focus and hone in on making our legal processes quicker and safer, right? So we can document everyone that's coming into our country while allowing the necessary means for them to do so, right? And when we offer pathways to residency and citizenship, that's how we make them functional providers to the economy, right? And then further yet on top of that, you made other claims such as the idea that they're undercutting wages. I have a question: are you pro-union?
Am I pro-union? What do you mean by pro-union? Generally speaking, I'm anti-teachers union, but I mean, unions in certain fields I think are okay. I mean, it's such a general term. Am I pro-union? Come on, Dean. You know that's not a general, it's a general statement, right? If truckers want to have a union, if these people want to have a union, that's fine. But like, yeah, I'm not anti-teachers union, but that's an example.
Oh, anti-teachers union. So, so the reason I bring this up is because you're saying that like undocumented migrants are like undercutting wages. First of all, I see no evidence to.
I said legal immigrants. I said legal
migrants
immigrants. Legal.
wages.
No. Legal.
Migrants, yes.
No. Well, I don't call them migrants.
Yeah.
You could sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so sure. Like once again, right? I don't see any reason to believe that that's the case. I believe that they provide to the economy, and I gave you my source for that. But secondarily, you're basically saying that we should have like some type of natural union between the workers and the corporations, where we have to demand higher wages. And would you be positing the idea that
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that we have to limit the amount of allowed. They're essentially treated second class, if you want to be fair. Legal immigrations who are granted on H1S1 visas, which Trump did actually cut down in his first term of presidency. He actually did cut those down, right? That's what I'm talking about for the legal immigration part, right? They do.
So why do we need to cut down the amount of legal immigrants coming into our country?
Because they undercut American competition based on jobs. So how many people on Earth, Dean? Was it
jobs? So you're saying that they're taking our jobs.
No, it's not that I'm saying they're taking our jobs. I'm saying is corporations benefit by paying somebody, I don't know, 84,000 instead of 112,000, which undermines our, Americans' opportunities to live in a decent opportunity, right? Dean, isn't the American dream the aspiration?
What do you think is true of migrants that isn't true of like natural-born U.S. citizens that would allow corporations to undercut migrants while not undercutting natural-born U.S. citizens?
Because they're tied, their immigration's tied to their business contract. So in other words, they have to stay within that business and operate within that business. Americans, thank God we were born in America. We have free mobility. So if I say this job is, crappy or whatever it is, I quit. I could just quit. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference
Yeah, so
in.
then shouldn't we just give like migrants on these particular types of visas more mobility in our economy so then they can still functionally provide to the economy to increase the GDP, have a better standard of living for them and their family? Like, and I feel like we should go to the root of the issue here and just advocate for policy reform and change to make these migrants better off, to give them a greater like a
But
negotiating
Dean,
ability within these work fields
hold
by
on.
allowing them to scale freely in between jobs and careers.
Dean, the country, the world's what? The population of Earth is 8 billion. So if I go around and find the most talented people that are engineers, doctors, whatever, all these different types of people, Americans won't have the opportunity to compete. These aren't Americans. They're plucking them from different countries to bring in for that Americans could have their jobs. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, what you're saying? So you're saying that these like all migrants coming in are just doctors, scientists, geniuses that are taking jobs away from people that are like have like a lower level of skill?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that
What do you say?
Dean, you have to listen to me. I'm saying is that companies benefit from engineers, for example, right? Who they could pay them $84,000 a year, which it seems okay, but it's not based on inflation, versus $112,000 based on market economics for Americans, right?
I've already responded to this. You said the
No, you
reason
didn't.
why they can pay them. Yes, I did. You said the reason why they could pay them lower wages is because a particular type of visa that they'd be on to be in America legally would like contract them to stay in one business. Right. My response to this was we should be advocating for policy reform insofar as allowing these migrants on these visas more economic mobility, allowing them to go from one job to another and have some time in between, right? So they can continue to be functional and provide to our economy, provide to our consumer base, provide to our GDP, while also providing a higher level of well-being and standard of life to them and their family. Right? The answer here isn't to say these people shouldn't be coming in our country because of these disparities that would allow corporations to take advantage of them. What the answer should be, we should advocate for policy reform insofar as making corporations less able to take advantage of them, right? So they can still provide to those different areas. Like, and this is why I say that you're not America first, right? You place
They're not
America
Americans,
second.
Dean. They're not Americans.
You place America second, you place prejudice first, because if you were truly America first, then you would want to advocate for the policy reform that I'm mentioning so we can achieve a better off consumer base, so we can achieve more purchasing power for the average American, so we could achieve a higher GDP, so we could achieve higher standards and qualities of life, not only for those migrants, but everyone else in the economy.
I think that's speaking down about the H-1B visas and legal migration. I think that's the last thing you want to do. Do you know how many CEOs of some of the largest companies came here on H-1B visas, including Alphabet and Microsoft and IBM? They all took advantage of that from India. So I think that there's definitely an argument to say that, hey, we need to change something with illegal immigration. I think everybody in America agrees to that to some extent. But to now start, like talking about H-1B visas and saying that we should cut back on them, I think that's just ignorant.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Dean. I have to address something. You said they should make policies more, open up, job market and stuff like that for all immigrants, whatever. When we change the policies, in my opinion, first off, the policies is to limit them. Secondly, they're not Americans, so you can't just look at somebody in India and say you're American. Like your purview, your view of the war. There's 3 times the population of Indians than there are Americans. You have to put this into perspective. So if you take the best types of people in every single country, what is it, like 8-something billion, and yes, we have a higher standard of living based on our institutions, our history, and all these other things that are combined. There's no competition. So I don't understand you guys don't the competition, the aspect, the drain brain. Also, what it does, Dean, is you take the most talented people from India that could have upward mobility for their own country. You bring them to America. I'm not totally against immigration, but it needs to be drastically cut back.
But how much economic activity do those people create? You're talking about like the CEO of Microsoft. Like how much economic activity spawns off of him being in the United States and now being CEO of Microsoft?
Brian, it's not the CEO of Microsoft. It's the engineers, the 600 engineers that they hire underneath. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about, of course, we all know there's the Elon Musks and these other Vivek. I'm not even listen. To be honest, I don't even want Vivek in this country. He's a snake oil salesman and a thief. But that's a whole other argument. But what I'm saying, Brian, it's not the uniquely talented people that could come to America. It's the working class of the highly educated people that, again, it devoids their opportunity in the other country, and it also undermines our advancement of wage. Brian, isn't it the thing in America, right? The aspirational view is you work hard, you study hard, you save money, you work your ass off, and you can make a good living. buy a house, go skiing once a year. That's the American dream, Brian. That is the American dream. And Americans have that right first over somebody from India or
But we've all
Wait,
come
wait, one
from
second.
our ancestors came from other areas going
Can,
back 150 years.
can I
Brian,
bring up a point real quick? Bro,
go
you're
ahead.
literally advocating for DEI right now. You're saying that there's more qualified people that can work these jobs through legal purposes from other countries, but we should overrepresent and grant more opportunity to American citizens for trivial reasons.
It's not trivial
Are you
reasons.
pro DEI?
No, I'm not pro DEI. I think that
So
that's
then what's up with the inclusion of American citizens? Why do you
Dean.
want to overrepresent American citizens and give more weight to the admittance of American citizens into these corporations compared to people not from America that are here on legal visas?
Dean, because we live in a country where the population is America. Again, it's just based on logic, right? In other words, 8
You're pro
billion people.
DEI.
That's not DEI.
Just tell us
That's
all.
not DEI. That's not DEI. That is not DEI. And I'm not saying they're not more qualified. First off, I'm not even saying they're more qualified. I'm saying is what is the biggest desire for them to be brought over is that companies make more profit because they can pay them at a lower wage. So, I
And I've
mean,
already addressed that part, and I've already addressed the policy reform that we should be advocating here to make sure that that's not the case. And then, secondarily, you understand that when we do have these people coming into our country through legal means, and we do have them working these jobs, it only upbolsters the American economy. And when the American economy is upbolstered and everyone within it is doing better, each individual citizen has more opportunity and has a higher well-being on average. When we like in countries with the highest GDP per capita, we also see the highest quality of standard of lives. Right? This is true of places like Singapore. This is true of like Nordic countries. Right? This is true across the board. Right? And this is what individuals coming into our country, especially right on H-1B3s, do. Okay, right? And I feel like for you to say, oh, they shouldn't be able to come here. I understand it's legal. I understand they're more qualified. I understand that there's better
I didn't
policy
say they're more
reform
qualified. I didn't say they're more
so
qualified.
corporations can't be that can't be undercutted, but you still don't want them here. You're just telling us that you're prejudiced, right? But then the overwhelming point here, especially when we're wrapping the conversation back into Trump v. Harris here, is well, even if everything that I said is incorrect and everything that you say is correct, and that we should be prejudiced, whatever the case is, Donald Trump did torpedo Lankford's border bill in the House and the Senate 2 years ago, right, allowing more individuals to come into our country both through legal and undocumented means, all because he wanted the Democrats to look bad. So in other words, Donald Trump is pro open borders. He doesn't want a strict or firm stance. He wants more people to come into our country. And according to you and his worldview, right, he wants to destroy the country as long as it
Can I ask
increases
you a
his
question,
chances
Dean?
in the election in November.
Why is the Borders Union endorsing Trump if he's so bad on the border? Why are they endorsing him?
Yeah, because I'd associate members of the Borders Union to be very similar to yourself. I think that the average human is not that intelligent. I think that the average human especially lacks education on things such as politics. And what I think a lot of those members of the Borders Union has done is they have seen increased numbers under Biden and Harris instead of doing the research, instead of delving into the nuances on how that wasn't onset by the administration, and they've been actually pretty effective with it. They just assume, like other Americans, well, it happened under their term, therefore they caused it, right? And I mean, this is like what you and a lot of other Trump supporters and a lot of Americans do as a whole with the economy. So I don't think it's that far of a stretch to
So
say
your
that
answer,
everything
your
comes
answer,
from
your
the
answer is Dean Withers is intellectually superior to Boxing MD because he views the world as an equal playing field. In other words, why handicap Americans? Because the world is at our hands. Is this Dean Withers' answer? I mean, it's
No,
ridiculous,
once
Dean.
again, I'll go ahead and repeat my answer once again. My answer once again was that I think the average American lacks education on politics, right? And a lack of education on politics can lead you to false conclusions. They probably associate the higher level of boarding crossings under Biden and Harris with Biden and Harris, the same way a lot of people associate, right, the economic disparities and inflation onset by COVID with Biden and Harris.
No, okay. So yes, I do believe the average American doesn't understand a lot of logic, reasoning, and understanding. I completely and totally agree with you on that. But you saying false, like you essentially painting the picture incorrectly doesn't make you intellectually superior. Like there's an exponential increase. There's an exponential increase. There's an exponential increase in legal and illegal immigration underneath this administration. That's a fact.
Yeah, that
That's
is a
a
fact.
that is fact. The country will
That's
not
executed.
survive. The country will not survive if it continues at this rate. It won't. Everything else is ancillary to that. It doesn't matter, Dean. That's
Would
what
you say that
matters.
we have like an open border crisis right now?
I think we have an immigration crisis. Correct.
Okay, right. And you would never vote for anyone that would have such an immigration crisis, right?
What does that even mean? What do you mean? Like,
Like,
what?
it's like, what do you like right now? Do we have an open border?
I think the border is porous.
Okay, right now
Yeah,
there's a crisis. Okay,
it's porous.
right.
Yes.
So we actually have less daily crossings today than we had at the end of Trump's term. So seemingly, after 4 years, Trump couldn't fix the crisis. So
Okay,
why would you want to vote for him again? If he didn't fix it the first time, how would he
it's
fix it the second time?
oh my. So he actually made policy, right, with the Stay in Mexico policy, which had cut down immigration. They at least made them in a buffer zone so we could vet people on the other side of the border, so we don't ever have
Do you know
to.
how many people that actually kept out of the country?
Give me the number.
63,000.
I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know
It
if that's
is.
a real.
It's
I
right.
don't. Brian, to be
I've
fair,
never talked to
to
Brian
be
in my
fair,
life, and that is true. Yeah.
Brian, to be fair, I have to say this. To be fair, you equated the neo Nazis at the Trump rally to Trump voters. Are you aware,
Wait,
Brian,
what?
that
Wait, when did I ever say that? Can you show me the link?
you or your brother had a
No, he
thing?
didn't either.
Okay, so you showed it was at the Florida Palm Beach rally with the
I'm
boats, right?
Jewish. I would never equate
I'm
anybody
Jewish
to
too,
Hitler.
Brian. I'm Jewish too. Okay, full Jew, born Jew, raised Jewish, bar mitzvah, completely Jewish, right? You should. There's a you remember the rally at Palm Beach with the Trumps, the boats, and some of the Trump and the Nazi flags. You remember that, Brian?
Boat parade like a couple weeks ago or a week ago?
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You essentially wanted to condemn, like, you put a picture of Eric and you said, like, oh, this is like a bad look, like, condemn it. Like, I could bring up the tweet, Brian. You did say something like that. You equated them to Trump voters and it was a bad look. You said this, Brian. I didn't
No,
say you.
I said Eric Trump was at a rally where Nazis were parading around. That's all I said.
Okay,
And
and
look up the
Brian,
tweet. I can post it if
okay,
you want.
Brian, why did you do that? To somehow make Trump voters look like Nazis. We know why you did that. Do you know that Nazis don't like Trump, Brian, because they believe and again, I'm Jewish, so let me say this. They believe that he's cucked by the Zionists. Brian, do you know this? You know this, right? They hate him.
Well, I know that 80% of the Jewish vote went to Biden last election, or 70%. I'm sorry.
You know what? A lot of American Jews are very, unfortunately, liberal on a lot of policies because they will push
Hey,
back on.
Boxing, with all due respect, man, I brought you up here for a debate about Trump and Harris. Seemingly, you lost on all fronts, and this is just like
That's fine, Dean. Have a good day. Appreciate your, having a conversation with you, and maybe you could, be America first one day.
Oh, well, I think I'm America first, and I think that you're America last. Go protect that democracy and vote for Harris, buddy. Appreciate you for coming up. All right. Let's see what we got next, guys. If you want to come up, hop in that queue. We're going to go and get our next guest up in here as we speak, y'all. Having a little bit of a good day here. I see that MTG's parody account is listening. I would love for you to come up. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, all right. Let's see what our next guest has to say. Everyone, just give us a minute. I'm looking through for who I want to pick. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and bring Lovely up. Everyone, do give them a minute to load in here. Hey, Lovely, are you voting for Trump? Lovely, hello. You're muted. All right, well, they try to figure out how to unmute that mic. We're going to go and bring up another guest in the meantime. So everyone, just do give us a minute. Let's go and get William up in here. Love to hear from William. All right, doesn't look like Lovely's going to unmute, so we're going to go and remove her from the speakers. Looks like William's up here now. What's up, William? Are you voting for Trump?
I am. How are you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. So why are you voting for Trump, man?
I'm voting for Trump as a Mainer and as a veteran, mostly for economic reasons. I also think that there's some points in immigration that could be adjusted, and I believe that currently it's kind of a vote against this nebulous machine that I feel. I think a lot of people feel it, that there's a little bit heavy-handedness in the current government, and
I mean, we'll see more heavy-handedness under Trump. I mean, we don't see like our government right now advocating to put people in jail for constitutionally protected behaviors like Trump is. But about the economy, so let's go over it. Why do you think the economy would be better under Trump?
Well, it performed better than anything before. I believe in the idea of tariffs. I like the idea of centralizing and lowering energy costs as the root cause to lower costs for everyday people and operating costs for companies. I think, it's a good idea to go after something that is universally effective on multiple different types of demographics. The idea of energy is something that we all conserve, or that we all consume. I also think things like goods, I understand and appreciate both parties being, wary of the cost of living and food.
So first of all, about like the price of energy, we're more energy independent under Biden and Harris today than we ever were under Trump. Not only are we less reliant on imports, but we also produce more crude oil here at home in America. Source for this would, of course, be the EIA. And then for your second point there, of you saying that you agree with tariffs for the centralization of the production of goods, I agree with American manufacturing. I think it's great for various reasons that I don't have to delve into. But my argument would be is that there's merely other ways to achieve more government manufacturing. Sorry, not more government manufacturing, more American manufacturing that would involve an unnecessary restriction on the market that creates very detrimental inefficiencies. Right. So we can incentivize American manufacturing to a higher degree, right, through investment. We could simply put money into American manufacturers to expedite the level of goods in which we produce. And this is something that we've in fact already done. We did it under Biden
Well,
and
that's
Harris with the Chips and
interesting.
Science. We did it under Biden and Harris with the Chips and Science Act. By 2030, because of the $25 billion investment, we are going to be producing 20% of the global chip supply. And we actually even did it under Trump. Trump invested $28 billion into American farmers after he destroyed him with his tariffs on China. And that was all to promote American manufacturing in the sense of farmed goods.
That's great. Very good points. However, it doesn't seem that that aligns with the campaign thoughts of Harris. They are very much going to destroy the ability to see major donations from larger, more wealthier donors with the idea of this unrealized gains tax. You're kind of taking away the largest donation in investment classes' teeth with that. So you're going to have one or the other. You can obviously do that, but then you're going to have to go ahead and use tariffs. Or you could not do that and then not use tariffs. But you can't do both without actually working towards a higher inflationary state and a less stable economy.
Okay, so on your first point, when we're talking about business investment, this is going to be through congressional policy, not through private donors. For your second point about the unrealized capital gains tax, well, where is that money that is taken from them going to? It's going into the pockets of the average everyday American. Her tax cuts, which are in part funded by this unrealized capital gains tax, are going to 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class. I think reducing income inequities and granting more purchasing power to that average American, right, is more than sufficient reason to justify the unrealized capital gains tax, especially when we then consider the fact, well, if we invest in these companies through congressional policy, right, if we delegate resources to them and give the average American more purchasing power, that's only going to further promote American manufacturing and further promote a stronger economy here at home, right? And this is why I really like her policy. And then once again, Donald Trump's economic policy, $7 trillion delegated to another 10 years of the TCGA. We know that trickle-down economics don't work. We know that the TCGA specifically doesn't work. A Brookings study indicated that it inspired no increase in business investment on the macro scale and only led to marginal increases in the GDP, right, north of about $10 billion per year. Right. Meanwhile, hers costs $2.4 trillion. She knows exactly how she's going to pay for it, and it's estimated by people such as myself, Goldman Sachs, Wharton School of Business at Pennsylvania, that yeah, it's going to be beneficial not only to the GDP but to income inequities, like average purchasing power for the average American, and like various other things as well.
All right, you're good now. One, Diamond Page, the largest investor, not in favor of that. Two, we are not, as Republicans or any conservatives, in favor of the idea of a government who can't manage itself picking winners in investments. Are we talking about Solyndra here? Like, what are we talking about? No. We want a free market. No. You spoke. It's my turn. We want a free market. We want investment to flow the way that wanting.
Oh, you're lagging, William.
The idea of the government coming in and doling out taxpayer money from people. The very idea of taxation generally across the board on people, and this, we should be at a consumption tax, not an income tax. There should be a tax based on what you have to spend. And it should not be an allocation or reallocation of funds. The immigration idea, too. I mean, the idea of bringing in people fresh is great. But however, pretending that there shouldn't be preference given to people that have been paying taxes from birth or, tax paid by family on
Hey,
everything
I'm
that
not
they
gonna lie. You cut out there. I was following you when you were talking about like my idea of investing in these American companies through congressional policy. But then you cut out, and then like when you cut back in, you were talking about like consumption and income tax. I think I'm probably not tracking because you cut out. But
yeah. Yeah.
But to
You
respond,
missed the connection.
but to
But
respond to the
however,
oh,
yes, I
to
can.
respond to the
So the
first
idea
part
is
there. Oh,
to
you're gonna repeat
have,
it. Okay, go for it.
the idea is to have investment come from the voters themselves, not from elected officials who have been benefiting. I mean, there is no doubt that we're seeing on both sides of the alley no interest in getting rid of insider trading, no interest in regulating the back and forth migration between lobbying and private equity, private firms. Like, it's incestuous. I think we all can see that. And
Yeah.
so the idea of trusting the government to pick winners is simply not appetizing to me. And there's really not going to be much that I think you can say to many voters that is going to make them feel trustworthy to give money to someone that, I mean, we're funneling
Okay,
money
do you mind if I respond now?
overseas. Yeah, absolutely. Go.
So phenomenal. First, conceptually speaking, I understand your point. However, this would also apply to tariffs. When you tariff a good and you're picking the winner, you're picking the loser. The winner being, like some corporations in America, then the loser being the American people, the loser being China, and the loser being like smaller companies that are more likely than not reliant on exports. And then second of all, I'm not saying that the government should be picking winners. I'm saying that the government should advocate for policy reform that when it like reduce down to like the individual company, but should rather reward companies for like promoted growth, reward companies for hiring more Americans, reward companies
What,
for producing better
ESG,
goods,
DEI?
reward companies for overall doing well in our economy, right? And no, it's not DEI. You wouldn't call like the increase in the standard deduction to $50,000 disproportionately rewards companies that do better in their first year DEI, so you wouldn't call this either. And then secondly, like you went on like this whole tangent about like income tax compared to like a consumer tax. I don't really know what that was about. But is there anything else that you want to go over here before I move on to my next guest or grant that a response?
Yeah, so this is the thing, though, is, talking about DEI, ESG not being a thing, the idea is that there really is no appropriate thing to be attached to taxpayer money coming in and coming back out. Like, it is not something that we're voting on, and we're seeing mostly that the things that are being attached to these monies, including SBA loans.
Oh, William. All right. I think William lost connection. William, feel free to request back up later, man. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to remove you from the speaker list just because you started lagging again there. Feel free to re-request when you're done driving. I appreciate having you up here and thank you for the good conversation. Let's see what we got in the queue now. Let's go and bring up our next guest, you guys. Let's gonna get our next guest up in here. Everyone just do give us a minute, y'all. And once again, guys, make sure to hit that follow button. I'm at 197.4 thousand followers. It's super duper exciting. What's going on, America First? Are you voting for Trump? America First, you have to unmute your mic. All right, well, they figured that out. We're going to go and get another guest up in here, y'all. Kick AF out, remove from speakers, get the yay phone in. Hello, are you voting for Trump?
You talking to me or?
Yep.
So I wasn't initially going to, but like listening to you just makes me want to vote for Trump. So like he could win and then make you cry. So like I was like initially not going to, but then like because of like Trump's stance on immigration and like how pro-Israel he is. But
yeah, this is funny. And the reason I say it's funny is what did conservatives do when Trump lost in 2020?
well, that was a stolen election, but that's a different
It
case.
was. See, you are one of the conservatives that started crying on January 6th and hasn't stopped yet. I just don't think that conservatives and Republicans as a whole have the moral high ground to say, haha, libs are going to be so sad if Trump wins. Bro, y'all literally tried to overthrow our government, cause an insurrection against the Capitol, and steal the election from Biden in 2020. Shut your bitch ass up.
All right, give me a definition of an insurrection, buddy.
Yeah, sure. For an insurrection, what do you want? A legal definition, a colloquial definition?
Or just compare it to like all the other insurrections, because this insurrection, there were no one with guns. Every other insurrection before had people with guns. And by the way, you said I'm crying because that's what happened in 2020. When it happened in 2020, first off, at that time I didn't really care. And looking back at it, I still don't care because I care, but if Kamala wins, I'm not gonna like cry. I don't think like the country's gonna go to a downfall. But
That's what they did when Joe Biden. Like Trump literally tried to steal the election from Joe Biden when he won. When he won. He sent 7 slates of fake electorates to 7 different states to cast false certificates of ascertainment or votes from the states into Congress, stating that he won when in all reality he had lost those states. And then he tried to pressure Mike Pence into certifying them as real. And then he tried to pressure Bill Barr and the DOJ into falsely announcing widespread voter fraud. Like this man, right, was literally crying so hard that he tried to stage a soft coup, right, to overthrow our government and our democracy, right? And you were buying right into that shit. So how can you sit here and tell me that I'm going to cry when Trump wins, when last time Trump lost, he literally fucking tried to steal the election and rig it from Biden?
And for the record, there were multiple people that were arrested with guns around the Capitol building on January 6th.
Guns were used on January 6th?
There are multiple people arrested with guns.
Yeah, every other insurrection in the past, people had guns, like they used guns with them. They had it with them.
That's not the definition of insurrection, though.
Okay, but responding to what Dean said, he said that, Trump tried to steal the election when it was really the other way around. I mean, the Democrats stole the election, but you used the same talking point.
How did they steal the election?
Well, because it was an unusual election. Do you know how many?
How was it unusual?
Yeah. Do you know how many people voted with mail-in ballots?
Exponentially more than we've ever seen.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. And then also,
so that's your evidence that they stole it. I just want to clarify. Your evidence that the Democrats stole 2020 was the exponentially higher amount of people.
You and Destiny both say the same thing, that Trump told everyone to not use mail-in ballots. That's why when all the ballots were when all the ballots were put into the states, all of them were for Joe Biden. And the defense.
Wait, no, we're not even gonna get there yet. I just want to clarify first base. So your evidence that the election in 2020 was stolen was the atypical amount of Democrats voting via mail-in, right?
That's not like the only reason. I was explaining, and then you
interrupted. So I just real quick. What's your other evidence that the election in 2020 was stolen? Give it all to me.
Okay. Then no voter ID, right? They didn't
voter ID.
Yeah, voter ID.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 2, right?
Okay.
And then the third one would be the counting by ballots. If you look at each graph in the swing states, a bunch of votes were dumped in, and all of them were for Joe Biden. That's
okay. So that's your evidence, right?
Yeah, there's one more, but it's not coming up in my head right now.
Okay, so the first one, like atypical amount of people voting via mail-in. Yeah, well, that was because of COVID, okay? Right, not to mention that when it was investigated by Trump's 63 handpicked courts, none of them found sufficient evidence to overthrow the results. And, right, the ballot dumping, right, that people expected, right, and are explained as their theory insofar as why the election was stolen through these mail-in votes, or how more so, right, in 1,000 mules, right, the critters admitted in court that it was all a lie. About the second point, no voter ID. Yeah, we don't have federal voter ID requirements. I don't think that we have. I mean, I could just simply say that the election was stolen in 2016 from Hillary Clinton because no voter ID. You want to be able to break that hypothesis, but not to mention that you do have to be a U.S. citizen to vote, because in order to vote, you've got to be registered, and in order to be registered, you've got to have a social security number. But once again, right, why didn't that prove to the 63 handpicked courts, 34 courts with Republican-appointed judges, 17 courts with Trump-appointed judges, that the election had sufficient evidence that it was overturned and stolen? And then for your third point, about what was your third point?
My third point was about how in all the swing states, when the voting stopped at 3 a.m., all the ballots that were imported were every single one, or almost every single one, were for Joe Biden.
Yeah, you're just talking about the disproportionately high amount of votes through mail-in that were Democrat-leaning. That was natural, normal, and expected. Donald Trump told his people not to vote by mail-in, and then we even have Steve Bannon, as former chief strategist,
exactly right there. You just said
in early October, right, that he was going to claim the win on the night of the election because he knew that the mail-in ballots would be democratically favored. But once again, this has been incessantly investigated on the local, state, and federal levels since the election occurred. Donald Trump dumped millions of dollars in to his electoral integrity committee to find any evidence that it occurred. He took all of their findings to 63 courts. They all told him he had no sufficient evidence. Ivanka Trump was telling him it wasn't stolen. Melania Trump was telling him it wasn't stolen. The DOJ and Bill Barr was telling him it wasn't stolen. Mike Pence was telling him it wasn't stolen. Right? It was not stolen.
All right, can I respond? You just said it right there, that Trump you just said the same thing that you and Destiny always say. Trump told his supporters not to vote in by mail. So we all know that COVID doesn't excuse a more than double % of people voting by mail from 2016 to 2020.
Yeah, it definitely explains it.
So then if all the ballots that were dumped in, then how would they all for Biden? Because that means then a disproportionate amount of Trump supporters would have also voted by mail. That doesn't
Bro,
make any sense.
yeah, dude. Remember how like Trump supporters didn't think that the vaccine worked, that masks
Oh
worked,
my
so they
gosh,
held
bro,
it
you're
that it was a
going off
human
the
flu,
topic. Like
and then Trump told them not to vote by mail-in.
you're
Like,
literally changing the topic. Like we're not talking about the
no,
vaccines.
it's not changing the topic. Republicans believe what Trump says. Like 70% of Republicans today believe that Trump won 2020, not because there's any evidence, but because he literally said it. So of course, when Trump says that like, COVID isn't that bad, masks don't work, you don't need the vaccine, and we see the societalization of it being treated as like a common flu, and on top of that, he then says not to vote by mail-in, to show up to the voter booths, and then the Proud Boys are going to intimidate like Democrats. Yeah, we're going to see a disproportionate amount of Republicans showing up in person. Like they were whining about the mail-in ballots, all the Republicans in Congress, Trump himself, months before the election. Of course, we'd see their followers not want to vote by that same system that they were whining about. But just to make it clear, right, the Republicans knew that mail-in ballots weren't an issue prior to the 2020 election. And the reason I say that is because there was not one Republican senator or House member that pushed for effective legislation to make mail-in voting safer. They only pushed for legislation to ban mail-in voting because they knew it would be democratically favored. And that's the issue. Then once again, you can't point me towards one fucking court that ruled there was sufficient evidence that there was mail-in voter fraud on a in a large level. In fact, all of the audits that have been done on the 2020 election show it to be the safest U.S. election in recorded history. This is nothing more than conspiratorial bullshit that you only believe because Trump fucking jams it down your throat.
Okay, I mean, you could keep being a faggot and making up excuses, but you're not even talking about my point. You're not even.
Look at the really smart Republicans, guys. As soon as they lose a debate, they slur. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. They every single time. I swear to gosh, it's just astounding how intelligent people are on Twitter. All right, let's see what we got. Hop in the queue if you want to come up and debate, y'all. We're having a good day here today. I'm probably gonna head back over to TikTok here soon, do some debates with Parker, but I've been enjoying myself. It has been a lot of fun. The Republicans on Twitter are just so crazy. Like, I mean, I really think I'm gonna start doing a lot more of these just because Republicans on here are so insane. But
I hope you do. I think it's refreshing to hear the other side, and I think that many Republicans aren't used to hearing the other side on this platform.
I know, right? Yeah, like from what I've seen of X, it's just kind of like a cesspool for like Trump voters. I've been kind of upsetting that a little bit, so it's kind of fun. What's going on? 1776? Are you voting for Trump?
Yo, what up? I am actually voting for Trump. I am the owner of a cryptocurrency project on Solana, and I know that's not the place to promote this, but I am voting for Trump, and I can tell you why. I first of all, I agree with everything you just said about the 2020 election. I think that the mail-in stuff can be easily explained by the fact that Democrats are far more likely to use a mail-in ballot than Republicans were. I stand more on the libertarian side of things. And the reason I'm voting for Trump is because I believe that he is far more for individual freedoms and the rights of the individual than Kamala is.
Oh, I completely disagree.
I'm shocked. But I
Really?
promise you this, is I will not call you names and we can have a fair and respectful conversation about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason I disagree is, I mean, let's just start off with like constitutional freedoms. He wants to put people in jail for burning the American flag. The Supreme Court ruled in the 70s that was protected under the First Amendment. In an interview with Mike Pence in 19, he said that he wanted to take people's guns first, give due process second. And then after the 2020 election, he called for the termination of certain articles found within the Constitution. And I mean, we could also wrap it into a conversation about abortion. I mean, 1 out of every 3 women and girls in our country of reproductive age, right, have lost, right, that individual access to abortion. So I think when we consider constitutional freedoms and then on top, right, the lack of federal codification for a woman's right to choose, we could definitely come to the conclusion that Kamala Harris is better for individualistic rights, freedoms, and liberties.
Well, I mean,
I have a quick example of another one, and that's the First Amendment.
No, dude, go for it.
Although Republicans typically are pro First Amendment, I mean, Elon is, of course, and they praise Elon for it. Trump actually blocked myself on Twitter in 2019, and I actually filed a lawsuit. I joined a lawsuit by the Knight Institute, and they forced him to unblock me because he violated my First Amendment rights.
So I would argue, I guess first to Brian, I would argue that blocking someone on social media does not violate First Amendment rights
Apparently it
because
does, according to this court. I mean, I'd say the same thing, 1776, but apparently there's some like random legislation where that actually is a
Yeah,
First Amendment
so the argument is that he blocked my ability to read his post and reply. Uh, he was the president at the time, and I had no direct way of reading his communications with the American public that he
So
was
like
sending
the
it.
let me stop you real fast. The POTUS account blocked you, or like real Donald Trump?
No, his real Donald Trump, but he was using it as an official, official source of the presidency.
I mean, I would argue based on the First Amendment that everybody has the right to say whatever they want, right? But those comments have consequences, obviously. And I would say that on social media, if you're on social media, you have the right to listen to or block or whatever whoever you want. That's the way I believe. Like I have libertarian values. I think that, and Dean, I do want to address the abortion thing here in a second, but I think that with social media, I think it's one thing if the official POTUS accounts blocks you. I don't think that's right being an American citizen, because the president should be open to be trolled, right? They should be open to have people talk shit to them because they're the American president. It's going to happen whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. Um, However, with a personal social media account, I think that you have the right to block people. I think you should be
Yeah,
able to
but
block.
what delineates official and not official? Not just a name, because one says official. Like that doesn't really make
Well,
sense.
no, because there is one official president account.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
there is.
but he was posting in a way that was official. He was making comments. He was posting information that was as an official duty of the president of the United States. Just because the account didn't say it didn't mean that it wasn't an official act, and that's why the courts agreed to that.
In any case, I don't know that that's and again, the courts ruled in it. We'll go with that. But I don't know that I would agree that that's a violation of your First Amendment rights. As to what Dean said about abortion and that infringing on the right upon women, I would argue that the abortion argument was simply one that the Supreme Court ruled a certain way, and they said that abortion should go back to the states, which under the 10th Amendment it should, because it was never codified as a federal amendment. And when the Democrats held control of both the House and the Senate, they easily could have pushed forward a constitutional amendment codifying abortion, but they decided not to because they wanted to make it a political issue. And they wanted it to be something where they could point fingers at Trump
Now
and say,
we'd
no,
argue
he's the
that
bad guy.
we'd argue that like under Obama and then even under Biden, like we've seen like times where there's been a Democrat majority, but we haven't had enough to get past the filibuster. And before about 20 years ago, even the Democrat platform wasn't pro-choice. But like seemingly there was a couple things that he kind of left out there, especially his take on wanting to imprison people for burning the American flag, protected under the First Amendment. Then like his statement with Mike Pence about wanting to take people's guns first, give due process second. And then I'm just calling for the termination of the Constitution after January 6th, and then even attempting to silence the voice and the vote of every American citizen in 2020 when he tried to steal the election from Biden. I mean, I just don't think that we see any other precedent set for infringing upon individualistic rights, freedoms, and liberties by any Democrat, especially Kamala Harris.
Well, no, and I mean, I disagree with the fact that people who burn the American flag should be in prison. I do agree with the statement that someone made that if someone who came here illegally burns an American flag, they should be given a one-way ticket back to the country that they came from. I do 100% agree with that, because I think that there is a responsibility if you come here for. Hold on.
That's different. It's just different, though. It's completely off
No, no, no.
subject.
I agree. And I disagree with the fact that someone who burns an American flag should be jailed. I disagree with any fact where somebody should be not given due process, period, end story, like hard stop. And we keep talking about January 6th, but the moral or the tagline of this space and what I came up here is Trump sucks, Kamala's base, prove me wrong. And I would ask either you or Brian to give me a reason to vote for Kamala without mentioning Donald Trump.
Yeah, sure. Yep. So why you should vote for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump in the upcoming election? First of all, her economic policy is just incredibly good. It aims to cut taxes for 100 million American workers in the low and the middle class, to reduce income inequities, to make the average American better. If you'd like to ask specifics about her economic policy, how it's going to benefit that average American, how it's going to place more purchasing power in their hands, or how it's going to reduce income inequities, feel free to stop me right now and ask. Right? It's also going to not increase the deficit or the debt by a dime over the next 10 years. It's self-sufficient insofar as they're being $2.4 trillion budgeted for the tax cuts, with her then hiking taxes on the top 3%, the ultra wealthy and the corporations, to generate exactly $2.4 trillion over the next 10 years. I feel like one pressing issue that we don't look at often in like modern politics is the debt. I think that interest on the debt is one of the biggest expenses from our federal government right now that a lot of people don't really consider, and we should be doing as much as we possibly can to reduce those things. And the fact that we now see a candidate with self-sustainable economic policy for 10 years is quite astounding, and it stands in contrast to what we've seen over the last 25 years in politics. And reflecting back on Biden and Harris's administration, I think that we could attribute her to influencing some of the most monumental legislation in modern U.S. history, such as the CHIPS and Science Act to renew American manufacturing, such as the PACT Act to invest in our veterans, such as the infrastructure bill to renew American infrastructure to create new jobs, to spur local economies, or even the American Rescue Plan to help rebound America from COVID. And by the way, the Biden-Harris administration was the most effective administration out of any other country in the G7 with rebounding from COVID in the sense of inflation, in the sense of economic growth, GDP growth, and jobless/job claims. I'd say that she's also her and Biden have been incredibly prevalent when it comes to like minority communities. We can address a lot of systemic issues through socioeconomic indiscrepancies when we reduce income inequities. We're also reducing racial income inequities. They're also pretty good for HBCUs. And if she's reelected, she'll also be phenomenal for women's rights. There's been
So she's
65,000 women that have been denied access to abortion that have gotten pregnant as a result of rape in the state of Texas alone over the course of the last 3 years. And 1 out of every 3 women in America today don't have that same access. So not only is she good because of her economic policy, but she's also great because of her stance on women's rights. But I think in contrast to Trump, right, that is very important to do. But I understand the question that you asked me and hopefully answered
No, I
it.
mean, seriously, like I want, and I like having this conversation with both Republicans and Democrats because I think it's important to be able to talk about why Trump is good without mentioning Kamala. And I think it's important to talk about why Kamala is good without mentioning Trump. And the one question I would pose based on everything you just said is she's had 3.5 years in office. She's been the de facto president for the last 2.5 months. Like, why hasn't she done any of this stuff yet?
Yeah, great. So for the economic policy, you just can't get Congress together. Like pretty simple. I mean, the TCGA expires next year. That's going to be the next time there's going to exist congressional approval for what she wants to do. I think for the codification of like a woman's right to choose, that's pretty simple. I mean, it wasn't advocated for like in the Senate or the House to get people in there that would vote for these things in 2020 because it was overturned in 2021. But like obviously we've had this precedent over the last 4 years that we need this back. We need to advocate for members of the Senate and members of the House to renew and place these federal codifications in place. Right. So once again, just congressional approval. But then like a third point here that I could make is, well, they were too busy doing other things. I mean, they passed a whole lot of good legislation. I don't know if they could have passed more, and I'm very proud of the job that they did.
So if the issue is congressional approval, as a president, you've got to bring people together and lead. And if she has not been able to bring people together and lead, especially when she was the deciding vote of the Senate, what's going to change that in the next term where she's able to bring people together and lead?
Great question. Well, she was able to bring people together and lead on more policy than Donald Trump. I mean, we could even give you a really good example. The infrastructure bill. He tried to get it passed every week for 4 years, couldn't get it done. Biden and Harris got it done in 1 year with we're split in Congress. Border policy. They would have gotten that bipartisan border bill passed through the House and the Senate if Trump didn't torpedo it. Donald Trump couldn't get his wall passed through, so he had to resort to an executive order and a misappropriation of DoD funds. I'd say that they were incredibly good at getting Congress together and leading with like the policy that I just listed. But one thing that I will say here, oh, it's the other ad now. 1 second. One thing that I will say here is that we could see, right, how effective she's been at getting people together to lead, right, through. Sorry, I lost my train of thought just because I saw Ed in there. What was I going to say? We could see her ability to get people together to lead, specifically through her moderation in Congress. Like 5 years ago, she was saying that we need to ban fracking, that we need to have a mandatory buyback program for ARs. We need to get all this. We need to do all these like radical things. And then 4 years later, right? Well, she swam in Congress. She met in the middle of the aisle, and now her herself has more moderated views.
Do you not find that is because she wants to get votes as opposed to because she's changed who she is as a person? Because I believe that all politicians are corrupt, right? And I
Yeah.
think that they will do whatever it takes to get votes as opposed to be authentically themselves. And I
What
think
is
that's
the
a big
wait?
issue with everybody. Go ahead.
Operating under a republic, what is the point of our representatives?
To represent the people that are their constituents.
Yeah, so when she's representing her constituents in California, she's going to hold more left-leaning views than when she's running to be a representative for all Americans. Like, if anything, that's just like her like fulfilling like the criteria of her job.
I would disagree. I think it goes the other way around. I think the people of California need to, or the people of America, or the people of whoever, need to elect people who they resound with, as opposed to the politician changing their views to match their constituency.
Whoa, I completely disagree. No, I think, and especially as a libertarian, right, you should definitely believe if we are going to be operating under a republic, that the bare minimum our representatives can do is try to vote for the basis of their constituents, right? That is giving you the most rights over what is governed in our country. When your representative is going to be voting yay or nay on the basis of what you and the people around you think and feel.
Well, no, I think the representative has the responsibility to throw out who they are and say this is what I believe in, and then the people vote for who they like. And if the representative doesn't vote the way they want to, they just fucking unelect them next time. You know, they elect
Okay,
somebody
I mean,
else.
I think we're just kind of like arguing like two sides of the same coin here. I think when overwhelmingly when you make the argument that she's disingenuous and she doesn't represent the true views that she holds to, you'd have no reason to believe this. Like I think, of course, the opposite. But at the end of the day, we could just make the argument that no one is more disingenuous than Trump. No one has a less morally virtuous character than Trump. No one lies more than Trump. No one is less acquainted with the truth than Trump. So at the end of the day, right, if you'd like to make some argument that there's some like aspects of like the virtue in her character that you disagree with, compared to Trump, she is fucking Jesus 2.0.
No, I mean, I'm not voting for Trump because I think he's a good person or because I would want him to be,
So then why criticize like the faults that you perceive in Kamala Harris's character if you don't care about the fact that you're voting for a 34 count felon rapist that try to coup the country and ban all Muslims from entering, you know?
Again, I'm not voting for Trump based on character or based on someone I would want to have at my dinner table. I'm based on someone. Voting on Trump based on someone who I would want to lead the world. And when you're having conversations with people like Putin or with Kim or President Xi, you need strength. And I think that Trump has a whole lot more strength than Kamala does. I think that when you see, Kamala under pressure, and you saw it in the Brett Baer interview, where she could not answer a simple question as to why haven't you done this yet, without saying, oh, well, Donald Trump's been running for president this whole time. She couldn't answer it.
Yeah. So first of all, my one criticism of Kamala Harris that I'll give you about the Fox News interview. By the way, Ed, feel free to chime in. Nice to meet you. Is that there were some questions she didn't answer. But if you want to talk about strength in world relations, I mean, where are the leaked Kremlin documents that suggest Putin thinks that Kamala Harris is easy to manipulate, like the leaked Kremlin documents that suggest Putin thinks that Trump is easy to manipulate? You know, like where's like the left-leaning Helsinki where Kamala Harris bent the knee and believed Putin's word of mouth over US intelligence?
So for me, I always hear Republicans saying Trump is strong, Harris is weak, Biden is weak. What exactly is the definition of strength? What defines strength? Traditionally, it would be the use of the military, but now MAGA, they're completely against the use of the military. So what exactly is strength in your mind? Like how do you equate strength with somebody?
I would equate strength to 4 years of the Trump administration between 16 and 20, where there were no new wars, where Putin did not move 1 inch in Ukraine, where nothing happened in the Middle East, where no American soldiers were sent somewhere they haven't been before, and where Afghanistan was ready to be pulled out safely and effectively,
But
where
how is
Biden
that? Is
botched
that
that.
strength, or is that just Trump saying, "Hey, let's all just get along"? Like what is your definition of strength? Like, how do you define that?
I would define strength on the global stage as a world leader who other countries will think twice before fucking around because they
Because Trump
are.
will do what though? What has
What's
he
that?
done to those countries? You don't want to fuck around with us because Trump will do what? Like
He
what?
didn't have to. He didn't have to
Yeah, yeah,
because they
yeah.
didn't
But
do anything.
why not? Why didn't they? It's not because they're afraid of him, right?
Well, I mean, because he told Tehran that if they attacked Israel when he was president, that he would turn Tehran into a parking lot, and
Well, so
there
he
were zero
talked shit though.
rockets. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but like because he told them this, that's strength. But he didn't back it up. He doesn't back. He
Well,
hasn't
there's
used the military,
under
right?
under the Biden Harris administration, there's been 1,200 rockets fired from Iran into Israel. Under the Trump administration, there were zero. And Trump publicly said to the Ayatollah that if you send one rocket into Israel, I will turn Tehran into a parking lot. And I mean, maybe the two are not connected, but it sounds to me like they might be.
Yeah, I mean, MAGA is against the use of the military, right? I mean that's what we've come to, and it's always been the Republican Party's been the party that wants to use the military. But you say Trump's strong because he's threatened the use of the military, but didn't actually use it. And
I would argue.
like,
I would argue that
there's
MAGA is
other.
not. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple reasons for why more rockets were fired at Israel when Trump was president. I mean, you can't just
It's
say
not
that because
more.
Trump's
It's
strong and
zero.
Biden's weak.
It's not more. It's 0 versus 1,200. That's
Wait,
not more. That's
I actually have a little question. So
shoot.
what if Iran did fire at Israel and Russia did invade Ukraine and he like kept up on both of his threats of nuking Moscow and flattening Iran? What would happen to world tensions?
I have no idea because it didn't happen because they didn't want to fuck around under Trump.
Do you think that we'd probably be closer to a greater level of like imminent threat on the global scale, such as World War III, if we were like nuking other countries?
I would lead you to Tim Walz's comments during the vice presidential debate when he said we are closer to nuclear war with Iran than we have ever been in history because Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they've ever been in history, and that is directly tied to Joe Biden and the the Biden-Harris administration unlocking
But
the
not
funds that we were withholding from Tehran.
but it's not tied to Donald Trump pulling out of the Iranian nuclear peace agreement.
No, not at all. Because Donald Trump no, I don't think it is because it wasn't a peace agreement. It was appeasement. It was sort of like Chamberlain in fucking 1939 when he said, "Oh, we've achieved peace in our time." When Obama and Biden made that agreement with Tehran, they were negotiating with terrorists because, like, there's proof that that Tehran is behind
Oh, could you call them Iran or like Iran or whatever
Iran.
you
Sorry,
pronounce it correctly? Iran. Yeah, there you go.
I was saying Tehran because it's the capital. I'm happy to call them Iran. What do you want me to call them? Iran? Iran?
Wait, Tehran, that's the capital of Iran?
Yeah, Tehran is the capital.
Oh yeah, you could call them that. That's fine. I thought that you were like just making some implication,
No,
like
no, 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 no.
combining like
I
terrorist and
wasn't
Iraq.
saying anything. Tehran is the capital of Iran.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm uneducated on like global capitals of countries. Thank you.
Gotcha. No, but I mean, there is a correlation that shows that after we unlocked their money and gave them $6 billion that we had frozen their assets, following that, they sent money to both Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. And all of a sudden, you've got the Hamas Israel stuff going on, which, the Middle East stuff, there's
Yeah,
been wars in the Middle East for 20,000 years. I'm
I
not
think I
I'm not going to
disagree.
blame that on Biden. Go ahead.
I think I don't know where I stand on like unfreezing that money. Like I don't know if that was a good or bad decision made by Biden. But like still, yeah, like for global strength, I mean, I feel like I kind of made my point clear. Putin doesn't think he's strong. Putin thinks he's easy to manipulate. That's why Trump believed like his word of mouth over DoD and CIA intelligence at Helsinki, right? That's why we have like leaked Kremlin documents stating that Putin thinks he's easy to manipulate. But maybe like one thing that I could attribute to Trump here is that he's terrifying because he's psycho and insane. So when we have like a psycho insane leader in our country, right, that is like threatening all these other countries, saying if you invade, we'll kill you all and flatten your country. It'll be a football field and no one will survive. Like you're right. Like we probably will see right them to be less likely to engage in these actions, 110%. Right. But my dispute here, right, is that this won't resolve right in long-term cooperative agreements. I think that having a psycho insane like insane man right will result in short-term success insofar as there being no immediate threat to like like the victim that Trump wants to protect these countries no, sorry, let me repeat myself in the sense that there won't be an immediate threat but this absolutely negates us from being able to achieve long-term cooperative agreements. What we need to have right a focus on right is how we can sustain good global relations in the long term through things such as alliances, through things such as treaties, right? Through things such as working together, right? Not just scaring the piss out of all the other world leaders because we have a psycho killer in the Oval Office. And I think that that is one place where Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have really shown strength, and that's one place where Trump like really showed weakness. He pulled out of the out of the TCP. Right? He pulled out of the Paris Agreement. He said that he wanted to pull out of NATO. Right? He wants to revoke all these alliances, which are the only thing that can grant the U.S. right any virtuous any virtuous ability on the world scale to actually make and sustain these long-term agreements.
I would argue that the Paris Agreement was something we never should have been in because we agreed to something that was far more costly than any of the other countries involved. And the three countries that are causing the worst harm in climate change, if you believe in that, are Russia, China, and India. And none of them were involved. As far as the NATO thing, he never said that we should pull out of NATO. He said that we should make the other members pay their fair share. And I would argue that Biden is part of the cause of the Ukraine war going on so long, because when he stopped drilling and it raised the cost of American oil and oil around the globe, the European members of NATO are buying their oil from Russia, which that is Russia's biggest export and their only source of economy right now. And then we're turning around, charging taxpayers and giving that money to Ukraine. So we're really funding both
Wait, so
sides
first
of the
of all, he
war,
didn't
even though
stop
one is de
drilling.
facto.
We
And
had companies shut.
go ahead.
We had drilling shut down because of COVID, and we're already now drilling more than any administration that has ever existed in our country, more than any other country in the world. And about Russian oil, in fact, we actually sanctioned Russian oil along with our allies in NATO. And then additionally, about like him continuing like the Ukraine war. Or him causing the Ukraine war. If anything, I'd say that he's taken a strong opposition against it, and he's gotten NATO together to fight against Russian expansion through funding Ukraine, which I'd say is a good thing, not only because of the virtue that Russian expansion equals bad, but also because of the Budapest Memorandum that we signed in '94, stating that if Ukraine gave up their nukes, we'll defend them if they're invaded. With Russia having full knowledge of this, this was a red line in the sand.
No, I completely agree with most of that. However, to say that we're not funding both sides of the war and to say that our allies are not buying oil from Russia is simply incorrect. France,
We
Germany, the
sanctioned.
UK, they're all buying Russian oil.
We sanctioned Russian oil. That's why we had higher prices here at home in America, not only because of Trump's deal with OPEC to decrease their output by 10%, but also because we're no longer getting Russian oil.
Well, no, we're also not drilling as much as we were under Trump.
We
We're
actually were
currently
drilling
not
more.
drilling as much as we were under Trump.
We're drilling more.
Agree to disagree.
No, I have a source, the EIA. Look up EIA, U.S. crude production of oil. The highest we ever drilled under Trump was 12.9 thousand barrels of oil per day, and we're currently drilling 13.4.
If that's the case, I would argue that it's because we are making up for lost time.
Not only are we making up for lost time, but we're also just trying to excel into a higher level of energy independence. We're also less reliant on imports under Biden and Harris than we were under Trump.
Then why is gas higher than it was under Trump?
Yeah, because of a decrease in the global oil supply. It's a global market.
Again, agree to disagree, but that's
Dude,
fine.
I'm giving you my source, though, man. What's your source?
No. I get it. And I've enjoyed this conversation. I like coming up here and being able to debate and talk about politics without people throwing insults at each other. I think this is a good platform, and I think that there needs to be more platforms like this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Ed, do you have anything else that you want to throw in on here? Because I've probably said everything on that.
No, yeah. I mean, Dean's right about oil. I mean, I've talked about this for a while now. We're drilling more than any country in the history of the world has ever drilled, and global oil supply, OPEC controls so much of that, and they decide that it's a bunch of countries that get together and decide how much oil they're going to release at any given time. Because you have to understand that oil price also influences oil production. So when oil prices fall below a certain level, production automatically falls because it becomes too expensive to produce it. If you're not going to be able to make enough money to make up for your cost to produce oil. So the oil industry and the oil economy, I guess you could call it, is very complicated. And while Democrats have talked about, reducing oil drilling and reducing fracking and focusing more on green technology, that's not what they've done. They've actually increased oil and tried to work toward green technology, and that's what I think should happen. I think we should focus on producing oil, becoming more oil independent, but also focus on moving toward green technology, because in the end, green technology is going to be better, cleaner, and it's going to allow us to be even more independent than we are right now.
I agree with that. And actually, the reason why I so strongly agree with that is because if we just become like the world like dominating force in oil supply, that gives us a greater a level of like power and control over it. Like when the time comes when we could easily and economically make the switch to more green energy sources. Good point, Ed. Well, 776, was there anything else that you wanted to add on here before I end the space for the day?
What's that? No, I mean, if you're going to shut down the space, shut down the space. But I was going to say the last question I would have is when, according to recent polling, 79% of Americans by Fox News, CNN, several different polling agencies say that the country's on the wrong track under the Harris Biden administration, and
Speaks to ignorance.
Kamala Harris is. What's that?
I think that speaks to ignorance, not fact.
No, I mean you can Google it, but
No,
that's
I'm
fine.
saying
But
that stat speaks to ignorance, not to fact.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
inflation's the main reason for that. But did Biden and Harris cause global inflation? I mean, I think what really caused inflation was the supply shortage during COVID, then the huge increase in influx and demand when everything started opening up again and supply not being able to catch up in many industries for weeks, months, and in some industries for over a year. And then we had the cargo ships. We couldn't get enough cargo containers into the ports because there was a mad rush, and that hurt supply even more. And then we had the Russian-Ukrainian war, which hurt energy prices on the global level. So, I mean, inflation was not Biden and Harris's fault. Did they contribute slightly to it? Yes. So did Trump with his COVID packages. But that was just government and the Fed all trying to predict where COVID was going to do and how bad it was going to be to the economy and trying to make up for those losses. And yeah, we overshot a little bit. And by we, I mean Trump, I mean Biden, and I mean mostly probably the Fed, in that they put more money into the economy than anybody else.
So back to the previous statement, when 79% of the country, according to recent polling, says that the country's on the wrong fact, how would you explain to them that Kamala will get it back on track when she has not? I mean, let's be real. She hasn't really done anything in 3.5 years.
So she has.
Like
She's been the most effective VP in American history, and so insofar as tie-breaking votes in the Senate, and she's helped influence some of the most monumental legislation in modern U.S. history with Biden. I think the fact that 70% of people think that America's on the wrong track is because of exactly what Ed pointed out. I mean, like shit, dude. 7% of Republicans think that the 2020 election was stolen just because Trump said so. So I don't think that this prevalent belief is going to speak to truth. Not to mention, I mean, for centuries, like 100% of the people thought that Earth was flat and that it's okay for like old men to marry 9-year-old girls. So I don't think that just because a lot of people think something means that it's true.
Well,
I mean, I would just say,
Go ahead, Ed.
Whether it's Trump or Harris, I think the economy is going to come back because wage growth is going to catch and then surpass what we saw in inflation. And when that happens, people are going to feel like they have more money in their pockets, more money in their bank accounts, and then they'll spend more. Right now, wages always lag behind inflation. So you have inflation, the spike in prices, but then over time, people start saying, "Wait a minute, I need more money." They start telling their employers that. Those employers are also making more money because they've increased prices relative to what they're paying their workers. So they're like, yeah, you're right. You do deserve a raise, but that takes time. That takes years. And we've already started seeing wages go up, and we're going to continue to see wages go up probably for another 2 years or so. So whoever gets in the White House, inflation is going to gradually fall. It's almost already at the healthy 2% level, and wages are going to continue to increase. So I mean, regardless, that issue with prices and prices related to wages and income is going to fix itself.
Yep. Well, 7076, I appreciate you for coming up, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I actually
enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, dude,
Hopefully we can do it again.
Me too. I do these debate lives on TikTok every day, and like what I'm learning about Twitter here is, of course, there's a lot of people that are just like batshit crazy that are on TikTok, but there's also like a lot of more people that are more knowledgeable on these things. So I've been enjoying this slightly more intellectual conversation. So I appreciate you, man.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Peace out. And yo, Ed, it was nice to meet you, man. I appreciate you for popping up.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you as well. I saw some of your debate videos, and I guess a few weeks ago, and I thought how you just did an awesome job. And great job here too.
Well, I appreciate you so much, man. I hope that you have a good rest of your day, man. Take care. And then, hey, for everyone else in here, I have one thing for y'all to do once we end. I would all like y'all to do one thing for me. So on my profile, right, my most recent tweet is this space. It just says, calling all conservatives, this will be fun. If on your way out the door, you could actually go and like that tweet so we could push it out, right, on that Twitter feed so more people can pop back in and kind of listen to the recap of it. That would be phenomenal. I think the more people that can be exposed to these conversations, the better. So make sure to like that tweet on your way out. Also, make sure to hit that follow button. Not only do I do these spaces time to time, but I'm also cooking up, with a lot of my tweets. I'm not done debating for the day. If anyone is curious, I will just be going over to TikTok and we'll be live with my buddy Parker on at Parker Get a Job. He currently has 8.5K people in there. So if you head in there as well, make sure to let him know in the chat by spamming Dean Raid. But anyways, like I said, like the tweet. It's the space as calling all conservatives. This will be fun. Let's get that pushed out through the Twitter algorithm so more people can listen to the recording. Hit that follow button and yeah, have a good one, guys. Peace out.